Hello everyone. How are y'all doing today? Today we are playing Arctic Eggs. Hey Piranha, how you doing? You ready to cook? I'm ready to cook. Thank you. And I made a little special redeem for today, just for this costume. And you may or may not be able to peek under the chef's hat, which may or may not have some particular...
Oh, shit! A rat!
Bah! No! I've been talking the whole time! Ah, man! Oh no! You even like redeemed when I told you about it. Like, oh, bruh. I even looked at it. And I said, I'm not muted. Anyway, hi. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Hold on then. Okay, good. Then do me a solid. Do it again. Do the redeem one more time for me. Because
It's me.
see, I made multiple different versions. I won't tell you how many, but a lot of what's under the hat. So you'll be seeing different ones depending. I had a lot of fun making it, but of course I overestimated how long it did. Anyway. But yes, hopefully y'all are having a wonderful day. Thank you. I'm glad you really like it. I really like this one too. And this is a wild game, so I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. Besides, it's a weird cooking game. So it might surpass the slime. You flatter me, Piranha. You flatter me. But hopefully you've been doing well. I'm glad I was able to finish everything. Even if it sacrificed a day of streaming. Alright. But what do we got here? We got a bunch of chickens. I can't imagine us... We're gonna have so many eggs, dude. Can you imagine? Because, like, again, I don't own chickens. But I kind of wish I did. From what I've heard, one chicken lays one egg a day, which is wild to me. It's a pass the slime. Aw, thank you. Well, I'm really glad. It's been a hot minute since I've made something for y'all, so like I really wanted to go all out on this one, and I hope to continue doing that more from now on. Again, not trying to push myself too hard, but I've missed it. Is it several a day? I thought it was one a day, one chicken once a day. Maybe under certain environmental circumstances, but maybe it's like one once a day is like a healthy rate, but you can get them to do more if they're like stressed or something, maybe. Anyway, this is a lot of eggs a day. Regardless if it's multiple or single, this is a lot a day. They're a bit crowded cages, so I'm not enjoying the humane. I mean, that one doesn't even have a light. That one's just straight up in the dark. Tons of... Oh. Hello, officer. No, you don't understand. I don't need to be fined. This is Listen. I just work here. I'm certainly not the owner of this establishment with these poor working conditions. I also found them just invaluable. I mean, they by free range. You technically, if it's within like 6 inches of the wall, I mean, yes, sir. Can you fry eggs on top of Mount Everest? On top of Mount Everest, you say? Well, I don't see why not. I don't think so. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't think so? I just say I don't see why not. I'm pretty sure as the bottom cooks, the top would just freeze. Oh. Well, also, interestingly enough, do y'all know about that interesting relationship between temperature and pressure when it comes to cooking? And how that relates to altitude? It's pretty interesting. Like, to the point where when I lived up in Colorado, it is about a mile above, I think it was a mile, it was either 1,000 feet or a mile above sea level, comparatively to when I lived in Florida, which is like at sea level, right? So when I compared those two, like, we had difficulty transitioning, like, cooking. Like, the amount of time it took to boil water takes longer the higher up, when the pressure goes down, right? So it not only is like would the top just freeze, but like boiling water would be insanely like difficult to get up to that level because the pressure would be so low. It's really interesting. Like, just being like, oh, depending on the altitude, your cooking possibilities go down or up, depending, you know. Interesting. Sorry. Something to remember next time. After your attempt to escape, the boss stripped you of all your main functions. Oh. Do I only know how to cook and breathe and fine dining? All you could do now is walk and cook and fine dining. So make me an egg, cooked on both sides. As always. Okay, listen, I wasn't gonna ask. I really wasn't. What's with your pulsating face? Why is it pulsating? Like, it looks like you're just constantly made out of like a water balloon that's been slapped and it's like obviously just swirling in the balloon. It's like that. It looks like you don't have bones. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, so I control it with my mouse. Do I control it with my... Okay, okay, my mouse. And then I do, like, this. Got you. Okay. Alright. Okay. Generate heat by moving your mouse to scroll wheel to adjust the sensitivity. And then, once it's cut an inch to the left or right of the bend, then flick your wrist. Whee! This is gonna be really difficult, guys. Look at that! Look at that! And then, whoop! Look at that! Okay. And good. I think this line of work suits you much better than talking. If you want to leave this place properly, you need permission from the boss. I mean, the Saint of Six Stomachs. So go out into the city, serve all those who seem hungry, and you may just gain an audience with him. You don't have a lot left. Time, that is. Like, steals time. Don't cut corners this time. Uh-huh. No, that's a different game, Foxy. That's a different game. We'll play that next week. Today, we're cooking on top of Mount Everest. And until we meet the six stomach guy. I don't know. I honestly... Oh, it's so bright. But all we know is fine dining and breathing. And cooking. 10 people hungry. 1 life to spare. Oh. Hello there. Sup, my guy? Ran out of cups this morning. If only somebody brought more plastic cups to the potluck like I wanted. Drone stopped stocking the vending machines months ago. Had a drink out of a bowl again. Have you ever drinked out of a bowl, son? It's humiliating. What? What? Is he just dancing? Never going back. Oh, he liked it. He liked drinking out of a bowl. You know what? To each their own. I'm more of a drink out of a cup kind of guy, but I ain't here to judge. I'm not about to yuck someone's yum. Drinking out of a bowl, and then he just does a white guy dance. He just fucking... He almost dabbed on me. Did you see that? They all wiggle like Jello, by the way. Don't talk to me. You're the new poultry prepper, right? Ooh, listen. Listen, you can't use that word. Only we can use that word. Last one didn't last long. I would like an egg. Cooked on both sides. You can manage that, right? And then it's just this long curse word bleep. As always. Can you also cook my cigarette? See, this is why, in case you were wondering, this game also has you cooking weird objects, which is why there's a cigarette in Mama Dodo's pan. Oh no! Why are you bedridden? Foxy, what's wrong? I like the flavor it adds. It's already lit through. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were smoking. I'll change your voice accordingly. It's already lit through. So finish cooking before it fizzles out. Thanks. Uh-huh. There we go. Okay. Whoa. The way you just handled the pan. It's kind of hot. It's like keeping it old school with a hint of respite. I need that smoke now. I don't think I'll forget this. It feels important. 9, still hungry. 8, still hungry. Hello there, man and boy? I don't know how old you are. I don't know if them messing with my brain... Hey, you know what? I only know fine dining and breathing. And cooking. I wish they would just invent a toilet that doesn't whisper sweet nothings in your ear. Isn't that just a base toilet? Why would they add... Wait, why are you eyeing me? You see this guy on the left? Why are you eyeing me? Am I like right next to his face? Like me leaning forward and just being like... Just listening. He's like, dude, why is he... What? I've heard playful whispers in the bathroom are the work of dolphins. What? Is he... This man... He... What? Or chickens playing hide and seek. I'm not enjoying this conversation. Bro, you and me both. I am not enjoying this conversation. We're gonna walk to do stuff. I'll basically explain in a normal day I do 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day, 20,000. Oh. Oh gosh. Yeah, you pushed yourself too far. I'm sorry about that, Foxy. Get some rest, put your feet up. If there's any kind of like swelling or something, just make sure that remember rice, I think is it? It's raised. Basically you keep it elevated and you wrap it up, put some cold on it, etc. But I hope your day gets better. Sit back and relax with us for today. Rest your feet. But yeah, I'm sorry. You also have to go to school tomorrow too. On top of that, I'm not joining this discussion. Cool. Yeah. This guy ain't listening. Listen, he's not having a conversation. He's talking at us, not with us. He's just talking at us. I can't walk at all with a massive amounts of pain. Yeah, then don't. Is what I recommend. Just don't do that. Okay. Y'all got any extra ingredients over here? Ooh, Fish. All right. Did you enjoy your eggs? Ma'am? I think Miss might have been better. I think man was the wrong decision. It's like, wrong choice detected. Am I look like a man to you? It's like, oh no! Much later on Spotify, I also ate some really good Minecraft movie Oreos from Emily. Hell yeah! You're on Spotify? Congratulations, Foxy. Congrats. Minecraft movie Oreos? Were they creeper flavor? Like, see, like what made them Minecraft? Were they square? Were they cubed? He like leans forward. Hi, I'm making a time lapse of meat rotting in my apartment. And I'm like, oh, that's really weird. Why would you do that? Because people pay $600,000 to watch it. And it's like, oh, well, never mind. You keep doing that. Square Oreos aren't Oreos. I don't know. Just regular Oreos, but they had creepers and swords on the back cookie. Oh. Really hoping it pays off. All right, my guy. You let me know how that goes. I think people have been seeing rotting meat for a long time, but what do I know, right? Am I right? Haha. All right, let's check it over here. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing? Ooh. Indispensable. No, it's indisponable? What's indisponable mean? Hey man, how you doing? You want some... The flamingos were banned a long time ago. Those were the days. And he's just like looking off into the distance like, I remember the flamingos like it was yesterday. I think, honestly, I can't remember. But they left pink feathers everywhere. Like buildings were dusted with some sort of strawberry sugar. Oh, indisposable. Ooh, maybe it is indisposable. Maybe that is. Absolutely beautiful. As kids, we dropped them from the rooftops. We just watched them spin around. Hey, my guy, are you okay? Are you good? This is like 3 a.m. smoking a cigarette kind of thoughts happening right now. Which, honestly, it might be 3 a.m. and y'all might be smoking. So maybe that is what's happening. But for, like, are you okay? Do you need to talk? like is this like this is like borderline short story that you would write like on your deathbed. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yes, flamingos. Not a conversation you have with someone on a rooftop. Would do that all the time on the way home from school. We stopped eventually. Don't remember when or why, really. What really sucks is if we wanted to do it again, it's too late. They're gone. Ah, we really didn't know how good we had it. But I like to think that since I remember it so fondly, we made the most of it. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. So I don't think you want me to cook you some flamingos. Got it. Good to know. So are y'all taking chickens? I mean, good thing I don't own any chickens. Like I chicken. Yeah, point me in the direction, I would give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Also, Saturday I found out my floor was wet, so I had to move an absolutely huge closet. Oh wow. I was shooting water everywhere for days. No, Foxy. You are struggling. I'm so sorry, my guy. Oh my god. But I hope it turns out well. This game is wild, but you got it. Yeah, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink my caffeinated beverage. I don't have my water near me. I'm gonna grab that as soon as we go to our first commercial break. My girlfriend goes to a different school. I promise. I believe you. She's Polish. That's why you don't know her. Okay. What is this? Is this like a PB&J? Okay. Maybe it's like spam? Oh. Oh! It's sardines in a can. How am I doing this? How am I doing? I'm a magician. You can't touch this. Oh. Okay. Alright. Interesting. Ooh. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm glad I passed that, I guess. Hey, my guy, are you gonna talk about that guy's girlfriend too? No, this game is real. This is a real game. In fact, you know what? To test to see if it's real, go ahead and do the new redeem that I made for y'all. To check under Mama Dodo's hat. I don't know if that will help root things for you or make it worse, but go for it. Be serious now. There are still many hungry people here, I think. After you feed everyone, I will let you through. So is this kind of like a...
Oh, shit! All right!
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, what ended up happening was that it's on a queue. And also, hold on. If I go ahead and go to settings, hotkeys, let's see. The rat one is F2? Let's see here. We want Control F2. I want to stop the muting. Mute. Whatever, it's fine. Thank you. But yeah, I have many different ones in there. Now they won't stack on top of each other. But bald is one of them. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see it, but you did hear it. Will you find all the different things under Mama Dodo's hat? Only one way to find out. We're gonna go up this way first. Gotta catch 'em all. I think one of the cool things that we could do is like, what if I made like little achievements where it's like, oh, I made a bunch of different stuff. If you get them all, you get an achievement, and then you have it. You get like a badge. The achievement is like a badge for Twitch. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Oh, we're going over this. This is not ominous in the slightest. Oh, it's so bright. Why is it so bright outside? What is up there? This is Mount Everest, right? Which is kind of wild to do all this on top of Mount Everest, right? Oh, can I jump off this? I can. No fall damage. Yeah, right. You get a rant. Your phone finishes charging, so it like cuts on. Sorry, can't let you through. The people behind this door are incredibly hungry, but in super weird ways. After you feed everyone here, I think you'll be ready. Did you mean to send asterisks, or did you send a link that Twitch asterisked? What's up, my guy? Is this... Oh, that's funny. Yeah, yeah, like Twitch eats those, unfortunately. But hell yeah, I'm glad you clipped it. I know we have a clip thing on the Discord. It was meant to be like an automatic thing, but it's there. Yeah. Let me know if you can't find the Discord thing, and I'll make it more obvious. Never met anyone who has been to Mariana Trench. Starting to have my doubts. Do you believe that the Earth is round? A guy like me, 2 eggs. Oh. Make sure they're made of square. They're cubed. If it isn't Minecraft eggs, I don't want them. Hey, Ratty, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. All right, and whoop. Oh. Whee! Ooh, nope. Nope, okay. So we want... Oh. Nope. Nope, come on. Oh, well, that's gone forever. Oh, yep, there it is. Yep, there it goes. Okay. Thank you, Ratty. I appreciate it. I spent 2 days doing it. Also, there's a lot of different random things, so feel free to keep on doing it. Did you not see it? Wow.
Lizard.
No, my secret! My secret! No! How did you know? Of course I had to have an egg one. Oh, how did I... Oh, well, that egg's gone. My God.
Oh, shit! A rat!
Egg. 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 Dang it! Dang it! Ah, I'm figuring out what is it? What is it that's changing it? Get over there. Where the damn hotkeys? All right, let's see here. That's Control F10. That's toggle bounce. That's fine. Oh, hold on. I saw it. Mute and unmute is Control F12. That's game audio. It only happens... Oh, Control F11. Okay. So we're going to do this one as... You just noted the cigarette, yeah. Alright. Okay, so the mute and unmute, honestly, I'm just going to remove these. I won't have a mute for OBS for right now. I'll put a new one in, but just for today. And it's the same with game audio. There you go. Okay. Okay. The best 2 eggs I've had in a long time. You must be an egg maestro. It's like the only thing you know is fine dining and breathing. And cooking. It's true. 7 still hungry. Only 1 will remain. It's like, wait, hold on. What was that last part? Excuse me? Wait a minute. All right, well, enjoy your indisponable. The other one was an iguana, but that looks like a mole. So, funny enough. Hey, what you guys talking about? That chicken breast you smuggled me had salmonella on it. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm sorry about that. Did you cook it at all? No. I just licked it a little bit. Like, what else would you do with that? Gave it a quick Italian pan sear, yeah. Nothing fancy for a guy like me. You can get salmonella from iguanas. Uh-huh. It's like, have you ever had that? You're like in the middle of a conversation with someone and like they say some just out of pocket and you're just immediately like, oh, I don't want to be in this conversation anymore. Like, oh, never mind. I didn't realize what I'm getting myself into. I'm gonna slowly remove myself from this situation as fast as possible. Did you see it that time, Ratty? Did you manage to see it? It's quick. You better catch it. Were you around any recently? No? Why would I? What is an iguana? I don't think so. I really don't know how this happened. Check your meat before offering to strangers. I was hurt. Hey, Dragon, how you doing? Chef Mama Dodo. Just don't check under the hat. You may be or you know, something may happen. I've known you for 7 years. Oh, okay, we're just making an egg now? Oh, bacon! Bacon! Oh, well, that bacon's gone. I'm trying to get the... There we go. Perfect. We got bacon! We're in the middle of the therapy session, me and consoling my friend, so I'll be back later. Sounds good. Oh. Well, thank you for stopping by. I hope you and your friend are fine. Oh, well, okay. That bacon's gone. Okay. What's with this, like, on the side thing I can do? It's honestly wild. Okay, so we're cooking. How are we cooking, by the way? How are we cooking right now? Alright, come on. I need that middle one. I need that little one there to cook. There we go. Alright, and whoop! Oh boy. Oh boy, okay, it's 2 out of 3. No, 2 out of 3. Built-in stove, I guess so. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Good thing food falls from the sky, literally. I don't know where we're getting the meat. We have the meats, I guess. Sheer aura, right? Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, not quite. No, not quite. Okay, I don't know how I managed to do... Oh, well, that's gone forever. Oh. Dance with the devil piano, but it was pretty hard. Okay. That's... Yeah, or the piano is difficult. That's why there's people that take their entire lives. I mean, normally I would say I agree with you, but I'm kind of trying to find the spot where it's sizzling. Okay, okay, cool. Okay. What? Why did that one go? All right. It's fine. We're fine. We're fine. Guys, we're fine. We're just gonna do like that. Maybe it needs to like it's about movement. I think it's about movement, guys. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. And then Okay, okay, good job. Oh, oh, oh. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Come on, the last piece. The last piece. You feel better? Oh, because it's important for hip hop, but also it's a sort of jump scare for rap fans. Yeah! I recommend introducing any kind of new instruments to the genre. Really makes give your music like a new feel. You know what I mean? You feel better? It's good. A good meal requires a balance, though. Specific and even mix of hot and cold elements, especially when it involves meat. My guy, she's giving you free food. Stop fucking complaining. I'm so sorry. Uh-oh. I was making meat in front of somebody's store. Am I gonna get shanked? I feel like that's a shankable offense. Do it. Foxy, legitimately, do it. That's the kind of whimsy I can get behind. Gaze upon this fish ration, my companion for the last 10 years. Been waiting for the right moment to eat it. How about right now? I want you to be the moment. That is a wild statement. That is a wild statement. I want you to be the moment is crazy. First of all, it is simultaneously unsettling and like a huge compliment. Like I feel honored and unsettled at the same time of I want you to be the moment. You're just like, oh, at the same it's like the same emotion. I don't know how to describe it. Pop it open and flip out the fish so they can cook. My guy, I already have done this before. Oh, okay. Are you also throwing your cigarette in here too? Okay. Come on. Come on. Get. There we go. Alright, there you go. Well, nothing like sardines and some cigarettes to really add some spice to your life, am I right? Ha ha ha. Oh, well, there goes the cigarette. Alright, there we are. Look at that. So, how many smokes a day are you at now? Which would be the moment. So, I'm gonna use that in a song. Do it. Okay. No, the cigarette! To be fair, it is really funny that it's like, in order to open the can, you have to heat it up, which is kind of true. Alright, gonna go ahead and do that, and then pop. And whoop. Oh, almost. No! Oh! Cooking's hard, guys. Anyone who ever said cooking is easy is a liar. I don't know if you've ever tried to cook sardines and cigarettes on a pan in Antarctica, but it's not. You know what I mean? I wonder what the cigarette will do. Oh, I won't forget this moment. It was good waiting 10 years just for you. Here's something enough, it will open. Kinda, yeah, the pressure will open it. And but know that do it safely, please. Oh, you are okay. I thought you two were okay. After the Six Stomach Saint banned poultry farms. Oh. Yeah, who would own a poultry farm? Like, yeah, like who would I mean, who would own like I wouldn't. I mean if, I'm just anything semi-chicken related. Semi-chicken related? Mama Dodo looks in the mirror. What do you mean? Like how far removed from chicken? Is Dodo, which side of the line is Dodo in that scenario? Is it more chicken than not chicken? Like what do we, is it far enough that it's fine? Just asking for a friend. Kids don't even call each other chicken anymore. They call each other dodos. It's like... Not sure if it's because they don't know what it is. But if it's just an insult. Not just an insult. It's basically called someone delightful. Oh, hold on. I need, This was blocked. Hee 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 ho 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 ho. Ban! Or a delicacy. And kids calling each other delicious is kind of weird. To be delightful delicacy to someone must be nice. You're not wrong. So instead of like, you're being a chicken, it's like lovers whisper that to each other, like, while in bed together. Like, you're such a you're my chicken. And they're like, oh, Frank, you're so sweet. Hey, guys. Why is there a painting on this person's clothes? Are all these paintings? No. Why is that? I have so many questions. I need to talk to you. That's my brother Tony on the grill. Am I not there anymore? I was standing in front of the man. He doesn't like cooking that much. He is trying to build up his skill and credibility. God. So he can impress the Saint of Six Stomachs. Get their permission to leave. Uh-huh. I try to do the same. I didn't realize what you were wearing. Were you wearing this the whole time? Listen, I have a tendency to not like clock something in the environment, and it's just forever like hey, I need to talk to you. First of all, I'm so sorry. Unless you're cool with it. Why am I talking from down here? Good to see you again. Hey. Good to see you again, my friend. Will you take some meat off my hands? I'm way behind on this. I hear stomachs whispering from across the room. It is the superpower given to me by All Might himself. I never understood why he gave me the superpower to listen to stomachs, but he did. All I had to do was eat a lot of hair. Slows me down. Stage fright, I guess. Oh, I could just... Woo, 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 woo. Sorry. Eggs and sausage? Eggs and sausage? Oh, gosh. Okay, my guy, this is a lot. This is a lot. Alright. Guys, this is totally just eggs and sausage. Don't get any, like, weird ideas. Okay. And then whoop. Whoop. And nope. And whoop. Nope. Oh, almost. Oh, nope. We need to flip this one. I don't know if I need to flip the... We'll see. Perfect. Okay. Sausages do not need to be flipped. Thank God. You waggle it. I'm pretty sure it's like, oh, any woman who suddenly grows the opposite gender's genitalia. 100%. Anyone who doesn't have one and then gets one would do that. I would put money on that. Every single one of them would. 100%. 100%. Also, did you see the dino ears? Yeah! They look so good, Ratty! I'm so excited for you to wear them. I'm assuming your ear's still fine. I haven't heard anything otherwise, so I'm just assuming. But I'm glad it went well. That was impressive, truly. The way you sling... Wait, he saw me swing that thing around? Uh-oh. It's like, is that part of your process where you just spin it around, like, and whip it around? Good. I'm glad, Ratty. The way you fling, textbook. It even says to make that noise. It's kind of crazy. Hello, aren't you in the Avatar? Like the season, like not season 2, but like the second Avatar with Korra, if I remember correctly. like the twins that had like a weird relationship with one of the anyway. I don't need it. I don't need it. I really don't need it. I appreciate yourself for. Are you cross-eyed? Yeah, you cross-eyed as hell. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna assume those are gloves. Yeah, the velocity. Yeah, it due to centrifugal forces, it will actually like pull the juices downward, and it's like good. Right? Yeah. No, this is a totally normal human being. Certainly not a walrus hybrid. I don't need sex. No one asked, my guy. Gotta say, this is some random Twitch conversation. That first message ever in the stream is something along the lines of this. Oh, that's a good emote. Damn. I know where you got it from too. I don't need sex. Stole some bacon from downstairs. I don't like that those were linked. I don't like the fact that those were the same statement. In the same statement. Uh-huh. Okay, eggs, cigarette, and the bacon. Oh, guys! It's what's in Mama Dodo's pan right now! We were cooking for this guy the whole time! I still don't know what the problem is with the cigarette. Oh, nope. We'll buy bacon. Kevin Bacon? Ooh. Alright, we're good. I still don't know what the cigarette is for. Besides just... Oh. And whoop. It's difficult, okay? It's difficult. Cooking is difficult. When it's not boiling, you can't even boil water correctly on top of the Mount Everest, alright? This bacon... Oh. So it does prevent it from cooking properly when it's not directly on the thing. Interesting. No. Well, bye. Alright. Same deal. And there we go. Okay. And whoop. Okay. There. Nope. Okay. Nope. Come on. Oh gosh, I did it a little too hard. By a little, I mean a lot. I just can't control my strength. It's all in the wrist, you know what I'm saying? It's those gamer wrists. A Coco rap battle win. Oh gosh, that would be really funny. Oh, well, bye. Honestly, the rest of that was pretty good. If it wasn't for the cigarette, it would have been over. And to answer your question, Foxy, those emotes are the look outside dev is actually on Twitch, and they live stream their process and stuff like that, which is something I do recommend checking them out because they seem like really cool people. I haven't caught them live yet, unfortunately, but I imagine they got them from there. Yeah. No! I'll save it! I didn't save it. Alright, we got this. Sneak peeks of the new astronomer designs. Oh, how are you liking it? No! That damn cigarette, dude. Alright, cigarette, you're way over there. And then you immediately go to the other side. They're slaying. Ooh, you don't say. To shreds, you say. Alright, let's see here. Okay, perfect. We got it. We got it, boys! We got it! And there you are. Are you good, my guy? Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Uh-huh. Hey, how you doing? If I died today, can't eat an egg tomorrow. Not happening. But not hungry right now. I won't die today. Whatever gets you to tomorrow. That it might seem kind of not ominous, but like overly simple, but it's true. Sometimes whatever it takes you to get tomorrow. Yeah, really. I need to come back tomorrow to give that man an egg. Who are you? What do you want from me? Oh, you're the next poultry prepper? Again, that sounds derogatory. You just working your way through us all? Hoping to talk to sick stomachs. And I'm like, I haven't said a word yet. They're just like reading my mind. Great. Thanks for helping out, asshole. Find someone else to feed. The hell's your problem? I'm just I'm just cooking for people. Don't call me an asshole for cooking for people. You know what? I'm glad I'm not giving you any. In fact, I'm gonna cook in front of. I'm gonna cook for both of your friends, and you're not gonna get a single piece. If anyone ever uses word ubiquitous in a sentence, it is okay to ignore whatever they're about to say, and also punch them in the face. In tumultuous. We are hungry. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, y'all really are hungry. Okay. Let's see. We can do this. And there we are. Oh. Okay. No! Oh, man. So funny story. I was friend today walking, doing stuff, and I said before, and we were sitting on the bench, and then the kid in front of us had a toy that would look like a Fox Say song. Oh. That is pretty funny. That is pretty funny, actually. I like how you specified not kissing. It was so, that's just really funny to me. It was just like, we weren't kissing. It gives sitting 5 feet from each other because we aren't gay energy. No, where's that egg going? That egg is gone. Okay, well, let's get this. How am I putting them on their sides? Oh, got you. You're kissing otherwise. Got you. Alright. I accidentally flipped this one, so it'll be a little bit... Okay, and then... Can I, like... No! I flipped it a little hard! Ugh. No. Oh, no. No. Oh, no! 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 Alright. No, we got this. Cooking's hard. Don't worry about it. The thing underneath the hat, there's nothing under the hat. Ignore what I just said. Come on, move. I just need you to move. I just need you to move. I just need you to get off each other. Thank you. Well, it's technically off each other. Okay. Alright. And then whoop. Okay, well, a little high. Okay. Come on. No. Okay, well, you know what? I'll take that one. And the last one should be done now. Regarding the tumultuous nature of your art question, it's surprising to see the uniform ubiquity and manage to consistently deliver across these eggs. Oh, you rage baiting. You rage baiting me. Okay. I see how it is. Uses both. Technically, it said if you use either of these, then you ignore what they say. They technically used both. They didn't say either. They didn't say either or both. So using both then allows me to read the whole sentence. Logic. The multifaceted relationship between the yolk and the white is truly inspiring and really speaks to our sensibilities. Fucking thanks. No problem. Again, F you. All of us have a jar of honey in the bathroom. Cool. I didn't ask, but that's good to know. Why the bathroom? But I digress. Yeah, you did. Okay. The man in this kind of gives like I will tell your future vibes. All right. Sup, my guy? Well, it seems like no. There's a couple more. Okay. Saw you exit the poultry pantry. Last poultry peddler didn't last long. I told him about the new curtains I just got. I hope the jealousy he felt didn't drive him out. I tried to stay humble. You want to know about my curtains? When it comes to leftovers, I usually scrape food into a plate, microwave it, and then it's not microwavable safe, so because it has metal in it and it destroys the microwave. So I have to buy a microwave every single time I microwave something, and it gets really expensive. So I don't microwave things. And then I put a fork I use on that scrape the plate into the sink. It feels a little bit wasteful. Why did the thing I made up make more sense than what they did? Oh my gosh. Ma'am. Ma'am. Ma'am? Ma'am? Do you want some more eggs for your cigarettes? What is this? Is this what... Oh, guys, is this what girl dinner is? Is this girl dinner? I think I finally understand now. This is good for me. Oh, yeah, this is girl dinner. I think. They really don't make them like they used to. The eggs or the cigarettes? Alright, let's get our last hungry person. And then we'll go to ad break. I'm not hungry. It's complicated. Yeah, it's girl dinner. Furthermore, I would never eat anything you ever touched, no matter how gentle or kind that it is. And tender. You're really going through it, aren't you? With your... that gives the energy... what was it? It was... I don't remember if it was on TikTok or not, but it was just like... I would like to take it from me with their bare hands. They're soft hands that make me feel safe and comforted. But take it from me. Take my guns from me. It was so funny. It was so funny. That's what that reminded me of. Okay. Good. I'm glad to know that I now understand girl dinner, which is apparently 12 cigarettes and a single egg. I want to go to karaoke and sing a song that's not on the karaoke. Cool. Okay, we're having some sardines for lunch today. When this pops open, it's going to be a problem. But we'll be fine. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Alright, perfect. That works. Oh, so it's 2 to 3? It's like 3 to 5, I guess? Huh? Huh? Why didn't it finish? Watch people Martin make food just in all the microwave. That I believe. Alright. Okay. That's that. Oh, wait. Well, bye. Okay, we got this. We got this. We got this. And... oh. Come on. Come on. Pop it open. There we go. And then... no! No! The art of microwaving food is sacred. I don't use a microwave like almost ever. I just use the oven for all my reheating needs. I really don't bother. The only exception is popcorn. Popcorn also isn't microwave, but I have like a popcorn. You know those like big ones that spin. I do those. I have like old school popcorn popper, and it makes. Oh no! Oh, please let it land. Well, it landed, just not in the thing. Yeah, I well, not like a big machine, but like I have a popcorn popper. Like it looks like a dome. Okay, got that. And oop. It's always one. It's always one. Yeah. That's actually how I grew up eating popcorn. My dad used to make it that way. And I remember one day I was just really craving it, and I was just like, you know what? I should buy one. So I they're not expensive. They're really not. So if you're considering it, I recommend it. No! Okay, we're good. Okay. Okay, and then okay, that was a little hard. That was a little hard for me. That was oops. That was an oopsie daisy. You know what I mean? Microwave has one of the calling it, and the fucking explodes. That thinks it's the 90s. Yeah, I mean they last a long time. Microwaves. I thought microwaves were less expensive than I thought they were. No. Oh. Okay, we saved it. I think. We need to move. Okay, there we go. I think we're good now. We just need to have that one cook. There we go. Thank you. Zero still hungry. I just get shot. All right, let's finish talking to these guys, and then that's essentially everyone, and then we'll go to commercial break or ad break. What did you expect was going to happen? No one leaves here. These people need us. Like, actually. Not in a corrupt way, I think. All right. And with that, we'll go to our first ad break. Stretch, get some water, get some food, go to the bathroom. I'll see y'all in 3 minutes. All right, let's grab some water. See ya, Piranha. Thanks for stopping by. Wonderful having you. Hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Until I see you next time, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. Get my water. Get my water. Gotta stay hydrated. Oh, okay. I thought you meant see you later as in you were leaving. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're staying. Stay as long as you want. You're like, haha, I'm subbed. All right, let's try. Let's see how much I can do. All Okay. Looks like my mental health and physical health is not bad today. 23 push-ups. I can always tell it's bad, because then I can only do like 5. 9, 13. 30. Okay, crunches. Hey, Taco, how you doing? Whew. Doing a little bit of exercise during ad break. So if it sounds like I'm far away, it's because I am. Excuse me. Welcome to our cooking show. Mama Doda can cook anything. I don't know what that is, but yes. Whew. How dare you, Taco? How dare you make me even more swole than I already am? This is already a curse. It is a curse, Taco. Why? E2, Taco. E2. Okie dokie. Welcome back, everybody. Let's check out my hair first. Anything back here? Besides the beautiful scenery of a post-apocalypse. Hello there. The Saint of Six Stomachs is beyond this door. I was demoted relatively recently. My only job now is watching the door. Well, you're doing a really bad job because you're not even looking at the door. Allowing you entry without any form of credibility would be an embarrassment. Should you feed, say, at least 27 of his people, I would consider letting you in. There are many, many hungry people, not just here on the roof, but in every corner of the city. Each one yearning for new flavors and experiences. The Saint of Six Stomachs can hear the stomachs rumbling and would be eager to thank the person who quells it. So yeah, feed 27 people. Weird number, I know. But it feels right. It's a prime number. You can skip a couple of the weirder people. There are many spare mouths to feed. If you ever lose track of how many people you fed, try smoking a cigarette. Personally, I think it always helps me think. How? Oh, we can zoom in our eyeballs. Wee wee. Is there an inventory? How do we smoke a cigarette? Oh, we should probably put that on. Hold on. Let's see here. Because I had no idea what ESRB is to do. But it's not really like drugs, right? And I have alcohol, but I don't... Okay. Looks like I don't have cigarettes. We are technically cooking cigarettes? So I don't know if it counts as it's advocating cigarette use. You know what I mean? We're not really using it. Certainly not in the extent of like, it's a cool guy who also smokes. I am cooking. Ooh. Let's go in here. This is ominous. This looks like a loading screen. I was right. 8 people hungry. 9 dead. It's like, wait, what? What was that second part? Sup, y'all? How you doing? Do you think you could fry eggs on Mount Everest? I don't know. Might be too cold. Why not just pre-cook the egg? Yeah, like a meal prep situation. I'm not sure about that. Oh, meal prepping is easy. That's not... I've been meal prepping for years simply because it's a great way to save time, money, and reduce waste in the kitchen. So I'm happy to see many people getting wise to this method. Especially with today's sponsor. That would be a hell of a sponsor. It's like, that's my first sponsor. This is my first sponsor stream. I don't say anything about it. Wait for this moment and then say, this has been sponsored by me. Yeah, it would even be better if it wasn't nothing to do with this. What if it was just like sponsored by Castle Crashers? It's like, what the hell was that kind of segue? Oh my gosh. Oh, so funny. Whoa. I just want to cook the egg while I'm up here. Feels like cheating if I just bring it with me. The heart has its reasons of which reason knows nothing. Alright. Alright, Michelangelo, calm down. Okay, that's it for that, huh? I could literally cook you an egg right now, but apparently not. Hey, what's up? My culinary knowledge always proves you... That's really funny. That's just me typing. If any y'all see me type in real life, that was just me. the errors in the typing and then the backspacing to fix it in the middle of a conversation is really fun. I don't know why. It got me. It really did. Always be useful when dealing with toilets. Dealing with toilets? Whenever you first lay a steak down in the pan, you lay it away from yourself, so hot stuff doesn't sputter up and hit you. Steak, please. Same principle applies when scrubbing the toilet bowl. Honestly, thank you for telling me that. Mean and green. Something about culinary false something. Schweed? Honestly, that's just a good name for weed. What else is in here? That's an alien. Pig life? Oh god. Alright, we're moving on. At least one, I imagine. Not that it's problematic. I'm enjoying this. You still chugging along? The fuck? Is that a brain? Leaking, but still feeling. I wish they would just play a different song. The song, for whatever reason, decreases your leakage. I met the composer in prison. Maybe that's why. Anyway, I'm ordering you some food and a beverage. Oh, nice. Please be careful with the beverage. I don't mind if it spills, but it definitely makes things harder. Oh, I'm just cooking you at... Oh. Oh. So we don't want the... Do we want the beer spilling or do we not want the beer spilling? I'm gonna go under the assumption we don't want the beer spilling. Okay. Oh, almost. Oh, oh, oh. Oh gosh, I'm so good. I'm so good. I don't want to toot my own horn, but that's amazing. How was that? They cooked it just like you like. Even the brain, the organ of marvel, succumbs to the echoes of stomachs. Oh? That good, huh? Gonna go inside. I love this part. Uh-huh. Boy, that was boy dinner. You missed girl dinner, which was 12 cigarettes and 1 egg. Which is really funny. I really wanted to hope... I really hoped that this was a guy. Oh, you saw? Okay. Oh, that's so bright. Okay. Is there like a... Oh, difficulty. What? Normal. Ooh, we're gonna stick with normal, but look at that hard mode. That's wild. Settings. Can I turn bloom down? No? Okay. Alright, we in here now. Okay, that's better. Hey man, what are you hungry? I don't know what this girl's saying. I don't care. Keep it coming. Saxophone. I put my gun on safety. Well, you know what? I'm really proud of you, my guy. I'm so happy for you. In fact, maybe just like leave it out. Like, no, I wouldn't even leave it out. Put it in a locker somewhere. Somewhere where it's safe and people can't get to it. Fuck daylight savings and fuck room temperature liquid. You're just changing what I know. For farmers. And they're like, who is this person and why are you talking to me? I should not have gotten us drinks. I missed the sea of dance. I knew I'd get wet. What? Even they're like, what? I don't complain much. I was complaining. Dance the clouds. Dance just clouds the air like a salty humidity. I don't have a fuzzy towel. Unfortunate. I'm feeling moist. Y'all ever just jig in the mid-conversation? Y'all just Fortnite emote midway through a sentence? Oh my gosh, that killed me. That was so funny. I got us a beer to share. Just one? Just say that you like them. Oh, 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 oh. No! No! Alright, we got this. Okay, we're good. Okay, uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay. Oh, 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 no, 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 no! That was incredible. Oh! So they don't need to be standing. Oh, I bet you if you keep it standing, then it won't spill the beer. The beer makes it a lot more difficult to flip. Because if any of those beer things go out, then it counts as a failure. Got you. Okay, I got you. By the way, I have a new redeem today, cute boy. Surely you wouldn't peek under my hat. That would be rude. I have my doubts. But if I had 6 stomachs... Who has 6 stomachs? Pusha! At least 5 out of 6 of them would be happy. I'd take a 5 out of 6. That's an A, right? I thought olive oil was created by Oliver O'Neill and named after him. Really? I just assumed it was oil from olives. I have met the saint of 6 stomachs before. I was friends with his daughter. He looked like the owner of a place I used to work at. The owner was a very insecure man. Made us hang Christmas lights underneath tables. After all the surgeries, though. And marinating. I doubt 6 stomachs looks like that now. How are you the only coherent person I've talked to today? Honestly wild. My ice is too cold, but I don't want water. Can you just heat it up a little bit in the glass? Alright. Okay, got you. So if I miss if the ice melts, it's also a problem. Got it. Uh-huh. And oh, this is kind of neat. I like this little bit where it's like it's now a mini game, like in the prep stage. Oh, well, that's a failure. We're just gonna go for it. All right, let's see here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, missed. Oh, that's gonna be a failure, but we're gonna keep on going through, I guess. Unless I could flip it back into the glass, which would be wild. But we'll try that. He just throws it off. I take their ice and I just like, nyeh. There we go. You would think, right? Alright, let's see here. And that's 2. Okay. And... No. No! Take it! Oh! Alright, we got this. This one's real tough. Who would have thought that heating up a glass of ice on a pan would have been difficult on top of Mount Everest while everyone's partying and drinking? Alright, and whoop. Of course. Oh, no, no, no! You touched the glass, pushed it! Alright, we got this. We got this. No. Oh, alright, let's try to flip it back in. Yeah, we're on Mount Everyone. Yeah, you got it. But yeah, we're on Mount Everest. No, come on. Oh, oh, almost got it. Almost got it. Oh, well, that's it. Whee! Don't ask how I could do that. I just can. Oh, well, alright. Whee! Alright, I'm thinking, honestly, like... Oh, well, I didn't even mean to do that much, at least. We're gonna go here, here, and here, and then we're gonna, like, keep this, like, near the bottom. And then we're just gonna whoop. Uh-huh. And then we're just gonna whoop. Oh, look at that. That's hot. Let's go. Let's go. We did it. Damn, room temperature ice is on another level. I've been getting into some new music. Yeah, Metallica's good, dude. Alright, let's see here. Gentlemen, ladies. Quotas low. Sainted systemics may seek out restitution. Systemic discourse is really hindering their output recently. Agreed, since 2052 pseudo neo-technocentrist customers have been dirtying gloves in retaliation to the socio-consumer, that is. It's like, I'm just vibing. Yep. I've heard tender whispers desires move away from the state-operated enterprises structure, favoring something more. Don't say it. That word sent echoes around the room. Yeah. Hold on, let's see it. Mm-hmm. Then should I run another search? It's possible to hide chickens behind toilets, I think. No. 2 in 1 fortnight? Does a fortnight chance? Who would have we would have our very own anti-establishmentarianism movement in our hands. Little lumpy. Go team. Sometimes it feels like I like this guy the most. These two are narcs. Alright, let's see here. Used to come here all the time, you and me, man. You were holding me back. My legs had never moved faster. What's the last thing I will do on my phone? Like before I die. Oh boy. Alright, will that open this? Well, only one way to find out. I feel like it would have popped by now if that was the case. So we're just gonna do a little whoop. There we go. And there he is. There we are. What? The sardines are jumping. They didn't used to do that. This is like a fresh can of sardines. There we go. Fuck. That was incredible. Don't let the camera do that again. That was wild. Oh, well, here we go. Email etiquette is the last thing old people have left over us. Truly. Well, I guess that and taxes. I saw a guy missing his left hand earlier. Stop feeling sorry for myself. The next one goes out to him. Is this the meal for the left hand guy? Oh, well. We're gonna add some spice to the egg, I guess. Just for you. Whee! Ooh, well. They are dancing. They are dancing. This is true. That is technically what they're doing. Left-handed dude, this is for you. Let's go. No, the fish. Oh, they are dancing. You're right. Even the fish know how to emote. Okay, that's fine. Spilled your beer a little bit, but it's just gonna add to the eggs. There you go. Thank you. Three still hungry. How about you? You look like you're hungry. I want to replace all the roads with some sort of non-Newtonian fluid. And then think about it. If you drive too slow, you fucking sink. Someone who's been driving on the left lane for too long like, no. Let them cook. I thought this would be the job that would get my ticket out of here, since bar food is easy to make, and there are rarely any complaints, though the saint of the sick stomachs would notice me quicker. But hardly any of these people eat. Only drinks. I have to make them so quickly that I rarely spend any time on my cooking. Well, luckily, we have... Can I put glass on glass? No. Alright, we'll do that, and we'll do that. That. There. Oh, F you. I was like, good, I don't have to flip anything. Okay. Alright, we got this. Oh, no. Oh, look at that skill. Look at that skill, baby. We're getting so good at cooking. That was impressive. I never made drinks that quick before. I should quit. But honestly, not much compares to watching condensation dripping down a wet glass. Kinda real. Kinda real. Hey, Bappy, how you doing? We're cooking. We're cooking for people on top of Mount Everest. Isn't it very obvious what we're doing? But yeah, no. This is a very strange cooking game that Q-Boy recommended. It's very good. You're eepy? Well, we'll sit down and relax with me. Let's cook. And Shirley, don't redeem the thing where you look under Mama Dodo's hat, because there's nothing underneath there. It's a waste of time. Too many soldiers, honestly. Makes everything feel a little too hostile. I noticed. Oh, sorry.
Lizard.
And, you know, there may be a couple different versions of that, depending how many channel points you want to end up spending. I needed a job. Quit. Too scared. When the bass drops, kill yourself. That's wild. That's wild, dude. I said don't do it. There's nothing underneath there. That's what I said. Beauty is found in the briefest of moments, not in the grasp of eternity. This is a wild conversation. I'm moving away from... I'm glad y'all didn't have anything. You didn't want any food. The lizard name is nothing.
Lizard.
You got the same one twice. That's really funny. There's a bunch of different ones. That much is true.
Oh shit! A rat!
Also, there's a mouse named Timmy. So, and maybe also
Lizard.
Another lizard named Nothing. Can you find them all? I wonder. I don't need sex. It's like, oh, okay. Well, you just. How many lizards are there? Well, there's.
Oh shit! A rat!
There's an equal chance for all of them. No! My secret! No! My secret! I don't need sex.
It's me.
Government bugs me every day. Is wild.
Oh shit! A rat!
I'm a little uncomfortable. I would also be uncomfortable. Oh my god.
Lizard.
The lizard loves you, Bappy. Really do. I could confidently say I've never met a consultant who was actually helpful.
Oh
ever.
shit! A rat!
Also, Timmy the mouse really does like you too. I think you did. Hold on, let me double check. You got It's a Me. You got it. Yeah, you got them all. I'm not gonna let you spend more channel points if you didn't. Be like, what's the last one? So, it's a secret one that has like a point. Still searching. Well, I was wondering if I should make like a very, very rare, like golden Mama Dodo one or something that's like uber rare, like 1 in 100 chance or something. But I decided against it. I already thought 7 was enough responses. It's just their job to make you feel like you're in good hands, so admitting any sort of gap in their knowledge is impossible. I don't really mind consultants. Really? People who never admit fault are dangerous. I'm just hungry. Good thing I'm making you a glass of ice. Alright. Don't worry, guys. I got your drinks right here on this piping hot pan without a fire. Oh, look at that skill. Look at that finesse. Mama Dodo be cooking and be cooking well. There are your drinks. Person. My brain was just like, sir, ma'am, what's gender neutral? I should have said your highness. I could have made that egg better. You have only ever made poached eggs. Same tools. Same ingredients. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Okay. I gave you free food, but you know, whatever. What do I know? How like I would also say that to someone's face after they give me free food if I can make this better. This fucks. I don't know, something about it. I think it's this. I think he's what the kids say, snatched. Yeah. Did you drop your phone? Is there anything over here? Are these toilets? Why did I do that? I clicked twice accidentally. You would not believe what I dropped in there. Oh, okay. I didn't go down there. The camera's just down there. Could you jump in and grab it for me? I was hoping that the one... Oh, am I climbing back up? How did I climb back up? What? Hold on, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. You didn't want anything. You didn't want anything. Maybe it's the... Maybe it is down there. No, I talked to all of you. I talked to y'all. I talked to you. Sup. You two were having one of the most awkward conversations. You were just mean, so I'm not gonna even talk to you, even if you were available. Yeah, I guess it's just that person. And we check it out. We jump in the hole. Excuse me. Whee! I don't know how going back, like, I don't know if I just Spider-Man my way back up. Ooh, this is really cool, though. Ooh. Dolphin? Question mark? Is that a dolphin with lasers? It looks like it has guns on its side. It has something. It has swords or guns. The boiled one's head looks like France. Does it? Oh, hello, little... Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy, are you hungry? Can I cook you something? Oh, what a cutie. The man talks to... Wait, they were talking about dolphins! Where I was like, oh yeah, it was like, the dolphins made this happen. I don't know what he was referring to, but... Ooh, hold on. Can you fry me eggs on top of Mount Everest? Is that a code? Is that like the lazy dog laid in the yard, or it has every single letter of the alphabet or something like that? Like... The whale looks hungry. Place an egg in its mouth. Oh, sorry. I'm not speaking dolphin. There you go. I wasn't properly speaking. I didn't have the right pronunciation. I only minored in dolphinology. What is the scientific term for dolphin? I don't know Latin of dolphin off the top of my head. Weird, I know. And... Oh, got it. And... Whoop! Oh, sorry, my guy. He's like, no, I wanted to put it into my mouth. Alright. That my father was a squirrel and my father smelled elderberries. Oh, yeah. Let's see what happens when I do this. Okay. I need to flip it into his mouth. I can't just, like, momentum it. And then, whoop. So we need to bring it to the other side and then just really give it to him. I wanna feed the whale. I wanna feed the whale. Ugh. Oh, I missed. We got this. Don't worry, guys. We got this. Woot, 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 woot. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Alright. I like the game is just like, we'll just give you one egg. Don't worry, it's gonna be nice and easy for you. And it's like, I did miss. This is true. And woo! Oh, we did it! The flickering torch brutalizes the blackened sun. Chirping like a cricket, seared in moonlight. Calling for an answer, marinated in the stars' whisper. Heed our warning. But his response remained unsatisfactory. An echo peppers the air. We must forgive the crickets. Roosters of the moon. Yeah, this guy was not sober when he made this game. No way. I refuse to believe that. That's crazy. You don't say the statement crickets on the moon with sober mindset. No way. That or anyone who has said I am creative is lying. You couldn't give me 1,000 years to think of the phrase crickets on the moon. And this is not that's not a like a bad thing, by the way. That is a damn compliment. All right, time to go up the poop chute. Hello. Thank you for leading me to the other hungry person. I'm gonna not think about the stipulations about the poop chute leading into a underwater facility and a woman talking to a dolphin that looks like it had a mechanical antenna on its head. We're not gonna talk. We're just not gonna think about it. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Now we are moving on to the next area. Poop shop next door to the pizza delivery driver home. Right. All right. Let's go. I remember that way. Let's go this way. Bow, bow, bow. I wish I had a sprint. Bow, 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 but that's okay. Bow, bow, bow. Cooking our way through the Six Stomachs. I still don't really know what. So what do we think the Six Stomachs is? My guess, Six Stomachs is going to be a pig. I won't say last. There's still a lot of time left until the end of humanity. 8 people hungry. As long as I'm not cooking in toilets. Ah, we're in prison. We're making prison food. Okay, good to know. Are you dancing to your toilet? I prefer interpretive plumbing. Sorry, I am doing interpretive plumbing. It has many benefits. The main one being that sometimes if I work up enough sweat, the bugs find me desirable. I will let you use this one as seasoning. Oh, we're cooking with bugs? Hey, we're cooking with bugs! But don't let them escape. No. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, Roach. You're not going anywhere. Oh, nope. Yep. Haha. Gotcha. So if I flip you... Oh, they flip themselves... Oh, no! No! They can flip themselves back over. I'm honestly surprised. No! Ooh. Okay. Oh gosh, that one sucks. I mean, besides the fact that I'm cooking something alive, which I have mixed feelings about, that means a lot. Thank you. Let me do an interpretive dance to say how much I thank you, and they just flip me off. Sup, my guy? I work for the TV station. Love your shoes. Careful. They take away that pan of yours. We're roommates. And that's one-way street. Trust me. See ya, my guy. Hope things turn out well for you. Oh, man, look at all these chickens. I have like a... I should have drawn Mama Dodo with a mustache. Oh, that would have been so good with this. Because then they would be like, hello, fellow humans. Like, I'm totally not a chicken-like individual. No. Why did I only think about that now? It would have been so good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need to do drugs every day, man. Just, like, every other day. It's cool if you do, though. My thighs just get so red, I had to stop. What do you mean by that? Hey, what did you mean by that? Just take a PNG of an Italian mustache. You know what? 1 second. Mustache. Wait, do I already have one? Like in my downloads? I don't. Mustache. Oh, let's do you. Photos. Mustache. Oh, boo. Come on. You're gonna do this to me? Fine. Of course, they're just like, oh, in order to do the ones that you want, you gotta pay money for it. It's like, I'm getting a goofy stash and putting it over my face. It is not that difficult. Alright, so what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to do a little bit of finagling. So we're gonna take a little bit of a snip. Because they're gonna be weird about it. We're gonna save this as a mustache. And then we're gonna open it up. And then edit it with the Windows editor. And then we're going to we're gonna background, remove the background. Save. Perfect. And then what we're gonna do is, I know we have make things worse. That's funny. Yeah, we'll just add another one because why not? You know what I mean? And then we'll add a little PNG if you know what I'm saying. Image mustache. Mustache? I barely know him. Here we go. Perfect. we're just gonna like... We're gonna do like this. Kind of like this. Where it's like a little bit of each one. There you go. I don't really like it all that well. It's too... It doesn't move well with it. I like the idea. I don't think it fits well, unfortunately. Unless I make it super big. If I make it like this big, then it doesn't really matter either way. Nah. I like the original. Unfortunately, we can't. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, alright. Okay. I used to dream about these guys for the first couple months after the ban. Always wanted a taste. Super big is super funny. Yeah, but then it blocks it. You know what I mean? Now we could make it like this. Let's make it like... Well... Yeah, let's... We'll do it like this. Kind of like right there. There we go. Boom. Okay, we'll leave it up for now. I may decide to take it off later, but for at least... Welcome to Totally Human Chef Mamadodo. I always wanted to taste. Chickens taste of tomatoes now. Ah, never mind. Grow up. It's better than alternative. Hey, what's the alternative? Hey, I would actually like to know what the alternative to this would be. It's certainly not dodos, right? Not that I would know. I'm not a dodo. I'm totally a human chef. I usually perch on the toilet if I were a bird. Yeah, I mean, yes, like this. That's how you pooped? I think it's healthier for you to sit like that. But I live with my girlfriend now, and she's Polish. Are you also going out with that guy's girlfriend? And I'm afraid she's going to come into the bathroom as I'm doing that. I tried to tell her the truth, and she thought I was joking. I have been trying to go cold turkey lately, but it's so hard. Just eat more fiber. Sounds like you have a fiber issue, my guy. Anyway. Just walk away. In this game, you aren't human. You put 3 dodos in a trench coat. Oh, that also would have been good. Just like 3 dodos in a chef uniform. Oh gosh. What's up, my guy? They say the saint of 6 stomachs has eyes that are deceptively unimportant. He understands you, even through frosted glass. Is that an analogy? I don't think so. So he's got glasses? I think so. My great-grandma went to school with them. She also had glasses. Damn, he is pretty old. Consuming stingrays does that to you. Birds, too, before they got sick. I'm relieved to figure this one out. My great-grandma is dead. Good talk, guys. Gentlemen, y'all hungry? We have raised these guys since birth. Sure did. Do not waste them. If they escape, maybe that wouldn't be such a bad thing. We talked about this. It is time. Okay, how many of these am I going to have to balance? Okay. Whoop. 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 No! No! Oh my gosh. Well, bye. Alright, okay. Okay, no. They're on their sides. Oh! If I get them... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, if I get them on the sides, then... No! If I get them on their sides, then they take forever to, Well, bye. I wonder if I could just put them on the thing. Oh, well, bye. Okay, never mind. The roaches are tough, dude. Haha! I found the strat. The egg cooks, but then they can't go anywhere. Dang it! That would have been it. That would have been it. If they didn't fly off, it would have worked. And whoop, whoop. And whoop. And whoop. Well, there goes the egg. All right, Foxy, you get some rest. Get some. I hope your body gets better. Oh, he just jumped right off that egg. I hope you get. Keep me up to date as far as making sure that you're, doing well. Okay. Oh well, he just jumped right over, didn't he? I tried to flip him. There you guys go. Bro, what? That egg freaked out. Haha. You can't go anywhere with those legs. There we go. No, you jumped from upside down. That's not fair. You cheated. Cheated. Oh gosh, I put them on opposite ends. Oop, 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 oop. Okay, that gives me a few delicate seconds. Oh, idealist. Woo. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Oh, that one was tough. This is a fun game. Are you good, my guy? They just never tell you how hard it's gonna be. Did they die? Okay. We're gonna remove the mustache for now. Just for now, though. I might add a mustache to it later as like a additional thing to this costume, because I do like the idea of the mustache with Momodono. Let me tell you something. Do not bite at the bait of pleasure until you know there is no hook beneath it. Thomas Jefferson said that to me yesterday. What's up, my guy? I wish I could have tried my hand at poultry prepping. It's not my fault I cut my left hand off when I was 12. I was bored. Oh, you're the left-handed guy. Or the right-handed guy. The missing left-handed guy. There we go. The world is run by lefties. Actually, is a saint of six stomachs left-handed? Not sure. Can you check for me? Get up there? Finally lay this to rest. Yeah, no problem, my guy. I got you. Gentlemen, I figured it out. What chickens are for. Their gizzards are extremely pliable when exposed to toilet water. Take a look. Uh-oh. I have a feeling I know what this is. We need to cook all the sides. Okay. Okay. Whoop, come on. Oh, well, I did that somehow. Don't you see? This is it. His legs got like locked in, and when he did a flip, it didn't move with him. That was a backflip. Thank you for telling me, because I wouldn't have known. Oh my gosh. I've been working on some new music. What are you, Foxy? It's kind of a bastardization of the techno neoclassicist genre. It might be Foxy. I used a lot of reverberant clucking for percussion. Maybe it's not Foxy. I hope this will be a catalyst for reconsidering the ban on poultry. Or at the very least, it could compel the government to clarify how they handle the chickens that are seized. I used to be an actual musician. You showing me this stuff, it's like when a cat brings his owner a dead squirrel. Let this man grow! You elitist bastard. This is just... Alright. Up the stairs we go. Up the stairs we go. Up the stairs, up the stairs, up the... Yeah! Whatever you do, don't look under Mama Dota's hat with the redeem, because that would be awful. I was gonna say gentlemen, but sir, is it still sir in the military if they're women? I still think it is. Maybe it is me. Officers, there we go. That's better. Can you fry eggs on top of Mount Everest? Maybe you can make scrambled eggs, so no side and is in the cold too long. But at that point, is it even worth the risk? Is that a tumor? No, that was mogging Mama Dodo or mewing Mama Dodo, I guess was the way I described it when I was figuring it out. There's a lot of different ones. Is it even worth the risk? I like it's like scrambled eggs are so bad it's not even worth the risk. Mount Everest is hard to climb. The achievement of great getting to the top of dwarfs the notion of frying an egg. Lizard. Yeah, lizard. But no one's fried an egg up there yet. I would be the first. Being the first person to do anything is of course impressive, but it isn't a substitution for quality. You don't. It's me. And you do? All right. I guess talk to you? I saw you cooking down there. You have good capability. I'm a dinner and a show kind of guy, though. So I'm going to go throw shit in your pan as you cook for me. You don't have to keep it in. I just want to get your wrist dancing. Okay. Cool. Like, is that bad? Oh! Hey, Shadow, how you doing? One of them is Mama Dodo under the hat. This is true. Surely this bullet won't be a problem. Haha, but it's gonna cook all the way. It's gonna cook all the way before that one goes off. Hee hee hee. The way you flipped the pan was kind of aggressive. I don't appreciate that. But I suppose art that matters isn't really appreciated by everyone. If I pandered to your abilities, more poultry peppers may have been able to satisfy me. Pandering resembles erosion. Grand ideas, like towering mountains, erode into accessible but diminished forms. Initially, these ideas, pure and monumental, become mountains through expression, enabling others to perceive them. Yet as demands for a broader accessibility grow, like relentless rain, they sculpt the peaks of gentler hills and eventually valleys and canyons. This erosion will be making the mountains more accessible, strips away the beautifully rigid peaks. At the canyon's base, the view spans wide, offering superficial understanding without deeper engagement. Honestly though, I thought I was cooking. This man is cooking. I love the way they said that. Pandering is like erosion is so good. That's so cool. Especially in today's age. Especially. You know what? Honestly, that in of itself is worth this game. That little bit there was really speaks to me. Because I struggle with that. I struggle with trying to make something that, in my opinion, is like quote unquote good enough, right? And it's like, that's still, when you try to put those kind of standards on things, it's really difficult to get by them. Alright, so anyway, the hiker who navigates a mountain's original rugged terrain, though seeing less, grasps its true nature far beyond any canyon bitch. A little harsh, but I'm with you. My nostrils are hurting. You're right on my book, my guy. Even though you don't like my stuff, you have enough self-reflection to understand your own inadequacies and bias. Lovely. You got a Buddha statue for inheritance? Cool. I had a dream about you the other night. Okay, I don't know you. Oh, okay. Really? You ripped me out of my bed and started beating me. You were angry. You never had a bedside table. Because you have been on the top bunk your entire life. Wonder what that means. It means that you saw me do that to you the other night. No. Don't make it real. What is he doing? Oh no. That wasn't really a response. I guess not. So your response to that is stick your hand in the toilet? How many Buddha statues did she have? Is there any conversations happening? I assure you, we can reconfigure the toilets if needed. All good. Yeah. Okay. I don't even want to feed them. I am far beyond uncomfortable. Okay. Well, bacon, eggs, and a bullet. Multiple bullets. Woo! That one got it. 21, that's a lot. Alright. This one we'll be fine. We'll be fine with that one. And okay, we're good. There we go. Oh, no. Oh, it's too close to the edge. Don't worry, I'll accidentally do that. No! What happens if I get rid of the bullets? Like, there we go. What if I do that? Preferably not while the egg is on there. Yeah, okay. What? But the bullet still cooks when it's on the... Ooh. Oh, well, accidentally. There we go. Hold on, I'll show you the 5 feet thing. If I'm just whip, there you go. That's what that looks like. No, oh, accidentally. How did that one survive? What? I just got stuck. Okay, that's what happened. It was still on the plate from the last time. I was like, how did that get on there? Double dip. Yeah, I am definitely supposed to get rid of the bullets. There we go. Oh, I did wrong way. There we go. Never mind. There we go. Ha ha ha. Oh. Oh no. That's gonna knock the bacon way out. Yep. It got underneath there. There wasn't a way. That I could see anyway. There we go. Stop going in the middle. There we go. Are you serious? Did you see that shit? Nope. I'm just so good at flipping. Alright, this is gonna be a problem. We're just gonna get it towards the middle and hope we're gonna be fine. Yep, we're good. We're good. There we go. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. Come on. Cook! Oh, okay. I'm guessing the military guy. We synchronize our chewing. We synchronize our swallowing. All in an attempt to synchronize our bowel movements. I got it. Alright. We're going to do a quick commercial or ad break. Drink some water. Stretch. Do what you need to do. Go to the bathroom. I'll see y'all in 3 minutes. They're definitely in sync. I am gonna open a damn window now. Wait, how hot is it outside? Oh, it's like 80 something, but I'll close it again. No, never mind. I'll close the window. All right. I'm gonna keep it open. My room is just stuffy. Even with the fan going. So I think it'll help. Oh, hopefully I'll stretch. Ugh. Sure, everything looks good. I believe everything is good. Yeah. 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 Who? Oh, okay, so there's like a down there then after that. Okay, okay. But yeah, I'm glad y'all are enjoying the costume. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but then I realized I didn't really absorb that it's 9 different animations. Granted, the 7 of them are kind of like the same. It's the same base with like different stuff on top of the head. So it's that part was not that demanding. But the 2, I would say like 2 hours for the not speaking animation and 2 hours for the speaking animation. So it's still a lot, but I don't know. I wanted to get it done Friday, and I definitely planned to get it done Friday, but then I had like a huge like upheaval of my plans that ended up being kind of, I wouldn't say a waste of time, more or less a in all honesty, the way I would describe it is a test of faith. But what matters is that we're here. We might have missed a stream, but that's okay. But we are here. Let's see. Anything else? Why was there another one? Oh, people are talking about Magic the Gathering. Yet today... Wee wee. Look at that. It actually came out pretty okay. It's not how I really imagined it, but it's fine. Alright, welcome back, everybody. Okay. Let's go this side first before we go through any, like, weird side areas. Just... Guy, there's toilets over here. You can just put... Oh, it's fine. What's up, guys? I would like you to stop doing that. I haven't eaten in 4 days. How can I? What do I get from feeding you? Don't worry, guys. I got him. Heh. Oop. Ooh, whoa, oh, gosh. And whoop. Perfect. Whoop. 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 Oh, they stopped. Oh, I really spoke too soon, didn't I? Okay, we're good. Whoa, that was entertaining and illegal. So this will just be a one-time thing. Come again? It's like, wait, feeding me is illegal? Wait a minute. Wait a heckin' second. Is this it? Hello. I would like... What is this, star? I would like to order a cockroach. Hold the roach. You don't say. Well, well, well. Ooh. I have no idea what this guy is saying. We screwed up his mouth during the orientation procedure. Oh, I'm cooking a pizza! Let's go! Oh, no, 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 no. Actually, you know what? I want to see what happens. All right. That's on me. Let's do this side. And pop. Perfect. There we are. And then this is just going to pop right on top of it. Whoop. Perfect. Thank you. That's not what he ordered. I'm just saying that's not what he ordered. Excuse me, gentlemen. Oh, wait. Do I pass through you? No. It's just your hitbox smaller than I thought it was going to be. All right. Let's go over here. Ooh. Sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. What the fuck? Aren't we on Mount Everest? Or are we not on Mount Everest and it's just a person asking if you could do it on Mount Everest? I didn't realize there was a hookah bar here. Sorry, gentlemen. Well, I can't talk to any of you. Just you, I'm assuming, yeah? So what are you doing here in my office, you poultry peasant? I assure you, we are not hungry. Perhaps my dolphins could use a little entertainment. They are all decommissioned after the war with Argentina and yearn for some excitement. Okay then, show us some moves. Show your moves. Whoop! Whoop! Oh boy. Oh boy. Whoop, whoop. Ha ha! You're not going to add any more now, are you? Ha ha ha, unless... There we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Alright, got it. Huh, that was impressive. Oh, unless... The porpoise peddler! Think about it. I will put a good word with the Six Stomachs. He actually helped me build this place way back when. Him and his chickens, me with my dolphins. Said he wanted to rest here with me when it was time for him to neurovolt. I'm not sure what that meant, but the day never came, unfortunately. I can't join the dolphins in the serenity that is whatever drugs y'all are on. Because, damn, we need a drug warning in this game. I was trying to figure out what was in this game that was problematic. I was like, I'm not seeing them smoke, so I can't say smoking. There is cigarettes, but it's not being used as, like, a drug. It's being used as an ingredient, which is very funny. Alright, so we got this one. So we got, like, what? It was like 876 or something like that. Which I don't think is 27. I think there's one more place that we haven't gone, but I haven't seen any other door. Maybe that one? Yeah, wait, hold on. I might be cooking. I think it might be this one. Sup? No, wait, no, that's not a door. Ha ha ha. You're the weird guy. He's like, oh. Maybe up there? This way we did go. That way. What's over there? I don't think we did go there. Hold up, we did go there. And then that's the way we need to go. Let's go up. Let's go up. I don't know how we got lost in a game where it's not very big. It really is a skill. It really is a skill. It really is a skill. Boo to boo. It really is a skill. Boo to boo. Oh. We have... Oh, we do have 26. Oh, we have 20... We have 26? Okay. By the way, it was spacebar. So 26, which means we're missing one person, which if I had to guess is simply just that guy. And we're just like, oh, you need one more. And there's no one left who's hungry. I guess I'll also eat, and then he'll be like a difficulty, high difficulty thing or whatever. Unless down there? But because it did say... Oh, wait, hold on. I don't think we've been over there. And we're gonna complete the whole thing. Damn right we are. Can I like go off this edge? I can't. Okay. Yeah, this is new. All right, let's go. In we go. Hey, welcome back, Dragon. Hopefully your friend's all right. 8 people are hungry. Well, as long as there's no bullets, I imagine this one's gonna be just fine. The Saint of Systemics declared he no longer consumes stingrays, ever since Enrique has been frantically searching for a new go-to dish. Good, good. I'm glad. I simply believe he lacks the experience to prepare these novel dishes. You need to soothe your ingredients before they truly begin to cook. All right, well, oh. Okay, yeah, they just take a hot minute. They just take a little bit, right? Look at that. See? Oh, do they need to be on their back? Okay. It felt soothed just watching you handle that pan. I didn't know I was in the splash zone. Don't describe it that way. Quite the delightful week ever since coming from Romania. Hell yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it, friend. What the hell? You look like the weird, Domino's mascot. I have been angry lately. Let it out. The Saint of Six Stomachs that's juiced our city. Left us with a rotting pulp. I haven't noticed anything different, really. You aren't looking hard enough. Food's good. People aren't sad. Outwardly. I just want to feel content for once. If you ever see me smoking tobacco, you know I'm depressed. That's fair. Oh, have you seen Under the Hat yet, Dragon? I don't remember if you were here for that or not. Hey, you hungry? I crave an end to all the chicken-related discourse. Good, good. Hell yeah, Dragon. I'm excited for you. Along with any mention of cooking in stomachs. Why isn't anyone interested in discussing politics with strangers anymore? Seeing contradictory information makes the world feel so real. People like people who grew up on social media apps when they go in the real world. Hell yeah, my friend Salty baked a cake. Oh, that's awesome. What kind of cake was it? A lot of veterans like to come down here to Unbelly City. Not sure why. I think the cool air. I find the air a little bit too salty, but this is where the Saint of Six Stomachs got his start. So naturally, this place became a hub for some interesting chefs looking to make some noise. I like things a bit simpler, though. Oh, I have it in my hand. I thought it was dancing on the edge. My perception was off. Red velvet. Velvet's good. Oh, boy. We don't count that one. Oh. Don't you dare. There we go. And, oh, there we are. The fish still kicking, quite literally. There we go. That paired elegantly with the fish. The cigarette? If you need, use my stomach as your bail money. What? What? I get to just bail with your stomach? I don't understand. Okay. It's good drinking during the day. Get your crying done before it's dark. Oh, you're really going through it. Listen, your next one's on me, guy. All right? Like, you need it. Might have noticed, but I got back into art and music. Yeah! I love your dragon progress. You've really come a long way. I don't know if you see it or not, because I know it's hard for artists to see their own progress. But you really have come a long way. I found a new thing to do with napkins at restaurants. Eat them. What? Sorry, I thought I could tell you about it, but I just checked. I can't tell you about it. I just checked. You're the wildest one that I've talked to today, and that's really saying something. Really good tip was looking up how to draw blank, then follow as much as you need to. Mm-hmm. It's true. Sup, my guy? How am I supposed to know which sock goes on which foot? The taste. I don't know. I don't know you, do I? No. You deserve the biggest funeral. That's... Are all the weirdos here? Like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, you don't want to copy. You want to take what they're teaching you and then apply it to your own stuff. That's how things stick. If you just copy a tutorial, it doesn't stick. It's honestly how, in my opinion, how teaching should and learning in school should be done, but that's not the case. What's up, poultry man? Hey, you got any extra eyes? Do you know what they do with all these chickens? The guards told us to watch these guys as they went to go get a drink. Told us to keep a close eye on them, aggressively. Like about to cry. I don't mind raising them. Keeps my mind occupied. Yeah, no, like I tried to make her very happy about cooking. One of the things that I was disappointed that I didn't add, by the way, was a mustache. So we did this for a little hot minute. So that it's like, oh, chicken-like things. I'm a fellow human chef, surely. I'm a little upset I didn't think about it earlier. I just want to know where they go after they take them. I also want to know that. But I'll ask the main man. Prison was fine. It kind of felt like a new experience. I was arrested when I was 12 because I made a got your nose joke against the Saint of Six Stomachs. Still not hard, how we heard. And obviously, I didn't think the punishment fit the crime at the time. As I grew older, though, I began to understand. Grateful for the opportunity regardless. I could have ended up like you. Stripped down to a poultry prepper. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. No, no. We want the... oh, so being on the back doesn't matter. Oh boy. Alright. No. 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 Come on. There we go. There we go. No. Oh, oh. We got super fast for whatever reason. There we are. There we are. Whew. That was entertaining. I hope the Six Stomach's still watching. Yeah, I mean, I'm always in my progress step. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Oh. Did I not talk to you yet? Yeah, I would have remembered you. Hey man, how you been? Yeah. Damn, they really tore you apart. But I recognize that nose of yours anywhere. It's like someone said got your nose and put it on a new body. We used to use your nose as a sundial whenever we got lost power. Mainly during the war in Argentina. Now, I'm not hungry right now, but I would have loved to give your stuff a taste on a later time. What a nice dude. What a nice dude. Hell yeah. Down to the pier. The Floster Yacht. That's something. But adding to it is going to be a challenge with me being rusty. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, but that's part of the process, right? Is knowing how to add stuff to your own stuff, right? I never understood why other vegetarians are allowed to eat fish. I did it purely because I liked the look. Do you mean the face on your dress? Or the look of being a vegetarian? I'm going to talk to your friend. Is he watching? He looks upset whenever you eat one of his fish in front of him. I think he has too much attachment. Oh. Ooh. Come on. Oh. Calm down. It's okay. It's okay. It's alright, pufferfish. It's okay. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And by that I mean cooked. Easy. Honestly, the pufferfish is a lot easier than the bullets. Thank you. Hey, I'm gonna talk to you before I cut the line, so what's up? You're so al dente. Thank you? So personal. A little intimate, maybe? Boiled fish balls and cream. Like an undulating monument. Soaked from head to toe. While it's easy to refute the first two accusations, there's not much I could say about the third. Yeah, okay. I'm feeling weirdly normal, and that's saying something from me. You got your exercise routine? Hell yeah! Good, good, good. I'm so happy that you're able to get back into it. Especially because you gained a few pounds of Romania. Well, yeah. I mean, I imagine you ate very well. I can't stand watching people eat my fish. The joy it brings them. Not enough. I know I could do better. I can catch, but I can't cook. That fucking robot up there will never teach me. Just buys me out and leaves. Can you show me what you know? Yeah, I got you, my guy. What? Oh my gosh. It's inversed because he's holding the pan. Uh-oh. Oh, we're not. We're. It's gonna be a problem. Oh. Okay. My brain. All right. It's all right. Just. It's fine. No. This is why in Bleach that one guy's Bankai is so powerful. Because everything is reversed. Ugh. Okay. It's inversed. It's fine. Okay. So we're going to go right, then left. Right, and then whoop. Oh. Uh-huh. Oh, no. Uh-huh. No, come on. Let me flip it. No! My brain. For y'all, it's just like, it's super easy. What's the problem? I wish you could play his theme without getting in trouble. Whose theme? And woo! And the bleach guy. Okay. Don't do anything crazy. We just need to let it cook. Oh. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Really. People didn't know what they were missing. I'm going to be straight up with you, cute boy. I don't remember talking about it. I think doing the inverse controls rewired my brain, because it's literally like, I don't remember what I've been talking about. But also, I just kind of talk. I don't usually remember what I talk about until I edit my videos. Because it's more of a stream of consciousness kind of deal. Because you have to, in order to like stay consistently talking. So maybe you'll hit me again at some point. But because it's stream of consciousness, my brain isn't like registering a whole lot. So I apologize. But I agree with you. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna agree with you. I don't think I could attempt what you're doing, making your way among people. The love for your work vanished from the gaze long ago, didn't it? I want to continue to love. Tell that to the Six Stomachs for me. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'll do that. Are you hungry, little fish? Currently, Earth is undergoing a 100-year transformation. The shift is complete, turning the Arctic into a new Antarctic, and possibly restoring a normal, albeit inverted, climate distribution. Is there anything else? Or is that it? Okay, well. You mean how long? It took, in total, about 10 hours. Do I just do this? Or do I have to... I want to leave, but it's not letting me leave. Do I just let this stay here? Can I leave? Oh, I can hit escape. Oh, okay. Why is it still there? Interesting. Do you think you could fry eggs on top of Mount Everest? No. Well, I want to try. You don't sound very confident. How so? You decided to ask me. That's true. The questions we ask often tell the truths of our own soul, I think is the phrase. Do you have to, like, drag the knife to the side? I couldn't drag it anywhere. It was just up or down. I don't think you asked because you wanted my input. I think it's because you wanted others to know. Know what? I'm not sure. Maybe that you have aspirations. That seems to be too simple, though. It's more about the novelty of the idea than practical goals, right? Are you maybe looking for a challenge that seems impossible, just to prove something to yourself or others? I think you take comfort in knowing that you're expected to fail. Oh no. That's so real. That's so real. You take comfort in knowing you're expected to fail. Oh no. That's the second thing this game has said where it's just like, that's so real. If you succeed, that's great. You defied the odds. If you fail, well, no one's disappointed because they figured as much. I think you're reading too much into it. It's just frying an egg. Deflecting like that is a little cowardly. This man is based as hell. This man is so based. He's so real. He might be my favorite character so far. Even more so than the other one where what was it? The phrase, I forget the name, the word, but it's blank is erosion. It's the, where you adjust your own creativity due to the feedback of others is erosion. Yeah, but also right? Hold on, let's check this fish again. Hey fish, you good? No. Well, I don't want to torture this fish anymore. But I don't know what to do with it. These fish are family. I can feel it. I'll believe it when I see it. Don't you start freaking out. Don't you start freaking out now. And also, like, no butter, no oil, no nothing. Wild. All right. Oh, nope. Oh, why was that one so hard? I barely tipped you, my guy. Hopefully, it's still cooking. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? Oh, perfect. I think the other one's cooking well. I can't see it, but yeah, I guess it was dancing. I think you're right, cute boy. I think they were dancing to the music, which is hilarious. What a reunion. Thanks for the show. No problem, boys. Hey, Fisherman Joe. Your bag's pulsing a bit. I feel like I wasted my 20s raising this stingray. What am I to do with it now? Big man upstairs changed up the menu. No one to cook. I kind of sound like the gosh, what it was that weird show on Adult Swim with the guy with the snake hand and with the goat feet. Are you or am I me? It is you who am I. If you are me, then who are we? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. This is wild. Alright, well, let's do face first. Oh, he's spinning. Wanna spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. Ooh, well. We'll do this way. Tomorrow so I can finally record vocals again in the studio. Oh, do you have a studio? That's so cool. Good. Whoop. I'm a little jelly. We did it. The taste. My 20s can wait. One's still hungry. What if it's me? What if I'm the hungry one? Sup? Sorry. I only eat in front of cameras. I know what I'm worth. Okay, you can starve. Sup, man? I found myself surrounded by adult sea flamingos. Sea flamingos? They are gazing at me. Motionless. I don't know, there's something... Oh, thank you. Tell them I said thank you. That is very kind of them. And I hope their day gets better. But that's awesome that you have access to that at your university. That's great. That's so cool. But I had the mental image of these giant flamingos just out in the ocean, like towering above you, looking down at your ship, and it was weirdly ominous. So I'm not complaining. I mean, listen, sometimes you don't get the proper permission for things, but people don't really care, so it's just kind of like it's against the rules, but no one's enforcing it kind of situation. So as long as you're not going to get in trouble, and as long as you aren't hurting anyone, then, you know, go for it. I probably shouldn't say that, but... Oh, listen, I have my own gripes with legality stuff, alright? They were gazing at me. Motionless. I had a feeling I might die. The flamingo's hum was much like a neon sign. I don't think I will forget that. A terrifying beauty. You're going to have good dreams tonight, man. Hey, are you like a prophet? Like, all these people are weird. The giant sea flamingos and then telling me, like, prophesizing that I'm gonna have good dreams tonight is kind of like, everyone else seems weird. You seem like a religious figure. I would be surprised if it's just like, yeah, I have a coat. What of it? Sup, my guy? Are you, okay? But at the time isn't used. If someone wants to use it, I leave. Simple as that. Yeah, exactly. My son won't let me die. Keeps replacing me bit by bit. When the last piece of me is removed, am I still myself? I don't really ponder the gradual loss of myself. It's kinda shallow. My son has almost completely been replaced, and I can still sense him in there. Still has that appetite of his even. But being near death, I feel a tense of unease, as all living things do. Similar to the moment just before vomiting. Every moment I am in the hospital, or not in the hospital, I am here fishing. Gotta eat while I can. They are taking my tongue next. Well, let's get you something delicious while you still have your tongue, yeah? Alright, listen. I know. There we go. No, it's okay. Calm down. It's okay. It's alright, Mr. Spindly Man. Oh. Hey, welcome back, Ratty. Your eyes looked beautiful as you did that. You reminded me of my own. So long ago. I think it's time to go now. And in we go. Okay. He just wanted to go for a swim, guys. He was just going swimming. Ha ha ha. Let's see if the fish has any wisdom for us. Oh, great wise fish, what wisdom do you have for us? Currently, the Earth is undergoing 100-year transformation. 23 years will be complete. The Arctic will be... Okay. Well, it's the same stuff. He's wise in only one thing. What's your favorite snail, Ratty? I don't think I've ever asked that. What's your favorite snail? And dragon, that goes to you. What's your favorite dragon? I think that counts. I think dragon is a spirit animal. 0 people hungry. And we have fed all 34 people. No one leaves hungry. We got them all. Sea snail with wing fins? Yeah! That one's really good. This ain't to 6 stomachs is just beyond this door. I was demoted relatively recently, blah blah blah. Allowing entry without credibility would be embarrassment. Should you feel, let's say 27. But I did. I thought you had something new to say. So yeah, 27 people. Weird. You can always check if you have a cigarette. Right, okay. No, I know which ones you're talking about, but yeah, please post because I just love seeing them. One still hungry. 6 stomachs. I am here for you. Well, this is 1 stomach. Are you speaking to me? This is giving me Inscryption vibes now. I don't know why, but it is. Whoop, 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 whoop. He like kills me. How dare you waste food in front of me? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Why can I not do eggs? I've done eggs so well this whole time. I think the pan is like at a different spot. Is it my imagination? Maybe that's it, and it's throwing me off. Ah. Got you. I like the fact that it's just so far essentially the same diet as somebody who is going through keto. Or like doing a keto diet, which is just like a fuck ton of eggs. Give me 2 eggs, and then 3 eggs, and then 4 eggs. And whoop, 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 whoop. And whoop, and whoop. Oh, I don't know how I managed to do that. Don't ask me how. Come on, get off that egg. Get off that egg. There we go. What? Hey, that's not a stomach anymore. Hey, what is that? Is that a flamingo? I would actually be more concerned if that was actual flamingo. Okay. Okay. Come on. Okay. Well. At least I don't have to start all the way over. That would have been kind of frustrating if that was the case. There we go. There we are. There we are. Oh, well. That's useless. Oh, come on. There we go. Well, bye. Okay, 5 is a lot. 5 is a lot. We're cooking for the rainbow of 6 stomachs something or another. I think if we do this, we gain our freedom, is the, like, logic behind it. It's something about chickens are illegal and we're cooking people's, like, weird tastes that involve cigarettes, among other things. Don't you dare leave. Don't you dare. Ooh, okay. I think we're cooking, literally. Okay. A chicken. It's a chicken in there. Is the 6 stomachs a chicken? I thought we would go pig, but it would make sense if they were also chicken. All right. Well, this is 6. All right. Perfect. All right. Oh, nice flip. Oh, well, bad flip. Okay, we got this. We got this. We got this. Uh-huh. 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 And that one we need to get off. Get off. Shoot. Get off each other. Stop it. So you could cook properly. Get off so you could cook properly. All right, I mean, there's something, I guess. At least from what I could tell, I don't think we could burn. Well, that can happen, but I don't think we can burn. Oh, y'all bounced. Okay, guys, please get off from the get off each other. Get off each other. This is me being an RA all over again. Get off each other. All right. Okay, that's flipped. That's flipped. That's flipped. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, we lost it. I don't know what number we're on, but we're on 6 on here. I don't think we started with 2, so I think we're on number 5. All right, I think it's cooking. Okay. This is a bit of a fever dream. Dang it. Hey, Skyen, how you doing? Thank you, thank you. Just don't peek under the hat. There's nothing underneath there. Nothing that needs to be looked at, certainly. And it's totally not different from every single time you do it. Alright, and then we'll just do it like up here. Alright, get out from underneath that one, pretty please. Come on, come on. Alright, that one's better. Can I get the other one? One apartment to another. Moving. Oh, no! We're fine. We're fine. Whoop. Whoop. All right. Come on. Come on. The next one's going to be real tough. Whoa, whoa, no. Okay. Hold on. I'm locking in. I'm leaning forward. We got this. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I might just have to settle for the 5 for right now. Okay. No. Yeah. No. I'm getting stuff for Valorant. The gamer potion. No idea. Oh, I just put that right on top, didn't I? That's on me. 5 seems to be the spot. There we go. Well, good job. Okay. Okay. All right, come on. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And there we go. Got that one, and then we just need to flip this last one. Okay. 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 I think this is it. Hey, my guy. How are you doing? Yeah, you're just looking at me, aren't you? Okay, hey, Nightwolf. Hell of an introduction. Just one? Uh-oh, what are you going to make me do with this one? The music even stopped. What are you going to do? Am I going to flip it into that hand that you have over there on the left? Surely not, right? Can you fry eggs on top of Mount Everest? Never thought about it. Perhaps it's irrelevant. For me, anyway. But still... Oh? That's a left hand! It's left! He is left-handed! We can confirm. I'm left-handed! Oh? Why'd I drop the pan? I'm kind of confused. Oh? Am I gonna shake hands? Oh no, we can't show this on Twitch. This is holding hands. This is obscene. God, blur the screen! Blur the screen! Let me know. Arctic eggs! Arctic eggs! Arctic eggs! We're going to Mount Everest. I guess we weren't there. I didn't even realize that. How could I have not realized that? Because the answer to the question would have been to happen immediately. Why is there a giant man? I don't really understand. Right. Look at all these buildings. I am so confused by this game. Critical Reflex, great game, but so confusing. Cool though. It's a cool game. I was Baba. I was Baba the whole time. But who was phone but hook car door? Uh-oh. Mount Everest. Oh, let's go! Let's cook it on Mount Everest! Let's answer the question! What's up? Cooked on both sides. As always. Absolutely beautiful. You mean the plane was cooked on both sides? Can I cook it? I get a giant pan. Alright. Well, I'm gonna answer your question, like, away from you, I guess. Explodes immediately, bro. There was just a single frame of us being up here, and then explosion, and then we all die. On top of Mount Everest. Oh, I would have loved to, because we're like top of Mount Everest is above the clouds, by the way. I would have loved to have been able to see like above the clouds and all that being up here. Like an egg in a microwave. Apparently we did. What do we have? The king of all chickens. Because it's the highest point in the world. The chicken at the highest point is the king of chickens. Oh, hail the king of chickens. Pet, pet. Good chicken, good chicken, good. You're so cute. Oh, you're so cute. Good chicken. Good chicken. Good. Oh. Good chicken. Arctic eggs. Sandbox? Oh. Meat cube, pufferfish, stingray, music. Okay, and then hazards, ice, bullet, shot glass, cockroach. Cockroach. Let's see here. The most difficult ones. Let's think here. The most difficult ones to cook technically was meat cube. Meat cube is technically the most difficult because you have to get all the different sizes. Stingray just took all the whole. Stingray is like pizza, where it just took the whole damn thing. And then bacon. Let's do. Oh, it is that a Mario Party game. It's true. Let's see if I hit start again. What happens? Start. Difficulty hard, because we still got like an hour, so that's why I'm kind of like, I wonder if we should try this on hard for a little bit, just because we have an hour to kill. So let's see how difficult this can get, right? So let's go to our final ad break, stretch, go to the bathroom, do whatever it is you need to do. Yes, a cooking stream, like an IRL cooking stream. And then we will go from there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do hard, doing resume, so y'all get to that. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat everything, but I want to see how difficult it really is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anything else that we can mess with the settings at all? We can make it into a different language. We could do that. Invert. Oh, right. Okay. Back. Yeah, nothing. So does that mean all of our chickens came from Everest? Oh, let me try something. Let's go. Oh. Oop. Oopsies. Ha ha ha. Oh wait, we don't have all the achievements. All right, view my achievements. In sandbox mode, cook 1 pufferfish and 1 beer. All these, okay, we have a bunch of sandbox mode, and then a hidden achievement, which maybe unlock all their achievements. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do sandbox mode stuff, and then do those. It might be beat the game on hard. All right, so what do we got? So we want I kind of want to see the hidden achievement just in case. If chickens come from Mount Everest, where does Mama Dodo come from? The Marianas Trench. Cook 1 pufferfish and 1 beer. Oh, y'all can see this. Okay, good. I was wondering. I was like, can you see this? I want to make sure there's nothing on here that's problematic. But does it not get cold down there? No more than Mount Everest. And also, Mama Dodo doesn't have a regulatory system, so it's not like she needs to stay warm. She doesn't feel cold, as far as I'm aware. She likes making other people warm, because that's just in her nature. But she herself, I don't think, feels cold. You know what I mean? Hello, hold on. Hold on. Welcome back. While y'all were gone, I accidentally quit, And then when I looked at the it gave me all the achievements at the same time after I accidentally did that. So now I saw that let's just grab these achievements first, and then we have extra time. Then we'll do hard mode. Hello, my name is Kevin, and this is not a joke. I sit on the toilet like this, always have. I know it's weird, but every time I use the toilet normally I feel wrong. It makes me more work. I think I have been doing this for so long that my body is just used to it. To go back, please try it for yourself. Maybe you can change. Again, I am not joking. But apparently there's a hidden achievement here. We'll see if by completing all the sandbox mode, see what happens. And then yeah, there was a guy who just sat on the toilet like a gargoyle, and he was like a whole thing, and apparently that's the name of the entire achievement, or the description of it. So let's do all these and see if the hidden achievement will show up after we get it. Actually, let's spoil it. Let's see. Feed the Saint to 6 diamonds on hard mode. Ah, it's beaten in hard mode. Okay, that's what I figured. So what we'll need, so we'll do the sandbox mode, and then we'll try to quickly do hard, maybe, and see if maybe we could do it. Let's see. 1 puffer and 1 beer. Okay, so 1 puffer, 1 beer. Puffer and beer. Normal. Start. Easy. I mean, I don't even need to flip it. I just need to keep this somewhat normal. You're fine. Come on, you're fine. See? There you are. See? Why aren't you calming down? Did I not figure you out previously? Completed a meal. Okay. All right. So that's that one. It jumped off at the last second, but I don't think it counted. Cook 1 egg and 10 bullets. 1 egg and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh boy. Yeah, it would have done otherwise. What, you don't add bullets to your stuff? Oh boy. Woo! Ah! I mean, I wouldn't in real life, but in this game, it's part of the. It's part of it. Ooh. Oh, that was a crazy flip. Oopsies. Haha. Teehee. All right. Ooh. Okay. I don't know why I flipped it early, but I did. And whoop. Oh. Oh boy. Oh, okay, we cooked it. Oh, okay. All right, we did it. 1 egg, a cockroach, and a bullet. 1 egg, cockroach, and a bullet. This is gonna be difficult. And then whoop. Oh well, I managed to give him a little bit of a ramp, didn't I? Okay. Yeah, I want some gunpowder. I mean, we were cooking cigarettes. Oh, I accidentally knocked the cockroach off. There we go. Got that. Okay. Got that. Oh boy. We'll be fine. No, the cockroach! Oh, we completed it! Yes! It counted. All right. What was the next one? 1 egg and 6 beer. Oh. That's an American meal right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or is that an Irish one? There's so much beer. Oh my gosh. Honestly, easy. Honestly, this is the easiest one by far. Hell yeah. All right, so it's called Beer Hell. Okay, so first it was Beer and Puff, then Bullet Hell, then In and Out. In and Out is funny. Beer Hell. Irish person, yeah. Tangled Meat. 12 sausages? Oh no. All right, we got this. We got this. Guys, we got this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh gosh. Okay. This is just intestines. This is the entire intestines of whatever it is we're cooking. Okay. Oh boy, that was too much. We're just spamming it. Oh, well, I did the wrong way. My brain is still a little messed up from the inverse. There we go. Okay, can I just putting it down is a hassle. Okay, this is a lot tougher than I gave it credit for. Okay. I like the empty void we're in, by the way, too. Okay. Okay. We're just kind of... No! I think that's the way. Humble way. First, let's try to make it so that these aren't overlapping, and I immediately did it, so don't mind me. Okay. We just do like this, where they kind of like move each other. It's kind of like when you shake, like rice or something, and you try to get something out, or you're trying to even things out by on the popcorn thing. Oh. That's unfortunate. Come on. There we go. Perfect. We're going to have to do that. Okay. Okay. Come on. Okay, got that one. Okay, that one looks like it's cooking down there. Perfect. Okay. All right, we got this. We got this. Look at this sausage mania. We're lucky that nothing burns here. Okay, I'm seeing 2 of them might be cooking right now. There's one. I guess that other one wasn't touching. Okay, that other one. Come on. I see you, middle one over there. I see it. Come on. You're definitely touching, right? You're definitely touching. I don't believe it if you aren't. Come on. Come on. Yeah, let's go! Alright, 12 sausages done. And now the caged roach. Sandbox mode. Cook an egg, 4 roaches in 4 shot glasses. I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. Okay. So we want... What was it? Hold on. I just remember. Okay, so it was 1 egg. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Put myself a target. Can you tell me if it's reasonable? Sure. Go yourself. Or go for it. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow. Okay, so you know what? We're going to back off real quick. We're going to delete this. We're going to do this, right? We're going to delete. We're going to egg. We're going to cockroach, shot, cockroach, shot, cockroach, shot. So that way we can try to like... Oh, no. I know what it is. I know what we're going to do. It's egg, shot glass, roach, shot glass, roach, shot glass, roach, shot glass, roach. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, missed it. Bye, roach. Okay. What we need to do is put the roach... Ah, the shadows are messing me up. All right, let's see here. Oh. Okay, so they come out. All right, so that didn't work. In that case, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna do the cockroaches last. Drum beat this week and the lyrics for my sister's song, and then I also plan to finish up at least 2 animatronic designs for my game. All in 1 week? How much time are you gonna be able to dedicate to it? Oh. Ah, I missed it. But I like where my head's at. No. 4 hours every day. Does that include rest? Does that include... So 4 hours every day you could work on it. Is basically what you're telling me. Okay. Oh, missed it. Where's the other stuff? Okay, well, how long does it take for you to do those other stuff? Ah, one of them always gets away. All right, let's see here. It's like that fourth one just has a mind of its own. Ah. This one's real tough. I see why people are struggling with this one. But we can do it. What I want is to flip the cups so that they're underneath it. But I can't mess with the pan in the meantime. Can I, like, rotate this? No. Can I rotate this at all? Can I, like, do, like, this? No. There we go. Well, okay, that one just jumped out of the damn cup. All right, let's see here. I feel like, because the egg flips. This does not. I want to flip the cups onto the roaches. Oh, it got away. What? How did it get an angle? Oh, that went so well. That was so well. there's around 3 hours of uni sessions, 2 hours of travel time, 1 hour to eat, maybe 2 hours to study. Uh-huh. And how much time does that leave you to rest? Come on, come on. No, the damn egg! Ah! The egg was not cooperating with me! No, no, that other... Oh, it's always that fourth roach, dude. I have 3 of them just fine, and then the 4th one decides to freak out. Alright, okay, okay. Nope. That was on its side! Ah! So basically, I can't let it get near the edge at all, or else it'll jump. No, no, oh, that... Yeah, putting them in a cup upside up is just giving them a chance to leap. Get. Oh, I think I messed with the sensitivity. I think that was the problem. Are you a roach? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, oh, there goes the glass. Oh, no, no, no. No. Yep, I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna make sure that y'all... No! That one was up! See, every time, there's just one roach that gets me. Okay, come on, come on. No. You do not... Oh, I lost the egg! We got this, though. Egg. Alright. Caged in. There's too many things to pay attention to. As soon as I pay attention to the egg, the roaches get ahead. And as soon as I pay attention to the roaches, the eggs get ahead. That one was just chaos. I don't even know what that one was. That was just bad luck. Okay. Yo, Roach, you can't do that. You were in the middle of being flipped. You can't fly off into the distance, into the sunset. Why did I have to mess with the settings trying to rotate? It's either too sensitive or not sensitive enough now. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No, no, you're not going anywhere. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Nope. Nope. No! I'm trying to flip the egg! I'm trying to flip it! Don't you give me sass now, egg. Alright? What is that? What is that roach? Did they eat jumping beans? No, no, no. Okay. Okay. Egg! Egg, don't do this to me. Egg! 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 As soon as I got them all corralled, you're like, I don't want to flip. I don't feel like flipping now. Man. I'm gonna kill this egg. There was even one, like, staying in the cup. You were on your side. I don't believe you, cockroach. I'm gonna start naming the damn cockroaches. I like the one that's upside down in the cup. Wait, can I do that? Can I, like... Nope. 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 Ah! It got... Ah! Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Spinny egg. Alright. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'll take it. Still lost immediately. Okay. Upside down. Okay. We need to get them upside down. If they're right side up, they just jump off. So if they're upside down, they can't do anything, and then I could just flip, and then everything's fine, and everything's honky-dory. So I have to miss once already, immediately. And then I missed 3 times. That's fine. That's only 3 roaches. Okay, well... Alright, we're fine. We're good, we're good. We're fine, we're fine. We're just... It's a fun little cooking game. Am I right? Am I right? Alright, get the roaches in the glasses, clap your hands. If your roach is in your glass, clap your hands. If you're clapping your hands, it's an FDA regulation issue, and you should probably report it to the authorities. Why is the egg somehow being the hardest thing right now? Okay. Alright, that one was just a bad spawn. That one's just me being bad. And okay, that was just bad. There we go. Everyone, to the void with you. To the void. There we go, there we go. Alright, so now we got you. Then we got, nope, missed a little bit. No, stop it! I'm still setting things up! You're not allowed to crawl while I'm still setting things up. That's illegal. Alright, now we gotta go there. Oh, missed it. Okay, at least a little bit of something. Oh, knocked that one off. I knocked that one off forever. Okay, cool. That is this. Okay, that one's knocked off. So forever, that one's gonna be. Yep. All right, cool. All right, well, we're winging this one. Haha! Get it? Winging it. Egg got it. Okay, after 6. Can I like rotate you in any way, shape, or form? Can I not like do anything? No. Oh, you moved. Stop moving it. Well, the game didn't even start until after it jumped off. For whatever reason, it was just like, no. Oh my gosh. All right. We're just gonna... Okay. It has to... Okay. We really have to just either get lucky with it or what? Okay. All right. If they're not upside down, we just can't have it in the glass because they just jump off forever. So if we have this, that was in the glass. That was in the glass. I'm sorry. There we go. No. All right, we got this. We got this. Guys, welcome to my stream. We got this. Where you put roaches in shot glasses. All right, okay. All right, there we go. No, don't. That one that went out of the glass cheated. I saw it. Y'all saw it. This was recorded in 4K. All right, there we go. There we go. There we are. No. Roach. Now the egg wants to flip. And, well, and there we go. There we go. Come on. Oh, why did the glass... I'm trying to flip the egg! No wonder people have beat it in hard mode more than this. Oh, even with just two, dude. It has to be all of them. I bet you even if I manage to get it, the egg won't flip properly and I'll just like... I'll regret all my life's decisions. See? I just started. The entire time I'm trying to get this out. Oh man, the roaches are the worst. Oh, you pushed the glass. See, I could not. I couldn't get it out fast. Well. Can I like... Nope. Okay. Alright, 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 alright. Oh, I pushed one off accidentally because, of course, the fourth roach. Ooh, we got this. We got this. I think this is the closest you're going to get me to play a rage game. Oh, that one's just a miss, unfortunately. Alright. Nope, nope, nope. Come on, flip, egg, flip. You son of a... Alright, see you, Ratty. Thank you for stopping by. Wonderful having you as always. And see you Tuesday. Well, the roach is already gone. Ratty hopped out of the chat like that roach hopped out of this pan. Can't really hold it against them, though. See, that's the bullshit that I'm talking about. They just fly, and they're just like, cool, I don't touch the pan, bye! See, that. Oh, gosh, alright. Alright. Come on. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh. Alright, 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 alright. Okay, no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you frickin' dare. Look at me. Look at me. No, no, don't do it, do it! Oh. Oh. We did it. We completed the meal. We completed the meal! Hallelujah! Oh my gosh. We did it. Oh. Hardest achievement. 10% of people got it, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot to me. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm gonna just quickly quit so that we get all the achievements. So let's do that. Yep, 15 out of 16. We got all of them. Hell yeah. They did drop, but luckily the egg cooking happened before they dropped. I don't know if it's the same like delay, but it worked. Okay. So what we're gonna do actually is I want to do this. Load. I want to load our previous one. 0 people hungry. And then we're going to switch the difficulty to hard. Save. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So now with difficult, we don't have to do the whole thing again. Which honestly, props to the game dev. Props to the game dev. We don't have to play the whole thing in hard. So now all we need is to beat the boss on hard. That's what it says. So now we go. Ah, oh, it's so bright. Like my future. One still hungry. Now, we're not used to hard, so it's gonna take a hot minute. Alright. Aggressive positivity. Oh. Honestly, it's not that bad. Granted, it's 2 eggs. Come on. No. Come on. Knock it. Knock it a little bit, please. Do you mind if... Oh, whoa. There we go. All right. Uh-huh. There we go. Oh, oh, oh. Come on. There we go. I'm just glad there's no burning. So if it takes a hot minute, it just takes a hot minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I think that's enough for it to cook. Yep. There we go. Oh. Okay, I see the issue is pretty much. You have to be really quick with it. You can't just lean with it, rock with it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Because if you overcorrect for too long, they'll start tipping in the other direction. Okay, we're still good. So I guess that's a chicken. I guess I kind of see the chicken now. 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm not looking forward to the 6th one. No! I'm not looking forward to the 6th one. Because the 6th one is when things got real heavy last time. And that was with on normal. But we're also better than we were then. We're a new dodo. We're a new chef. Okay. Okay. There's still a little bit of a lip, so it's still fine. Okay. Chicken level. Chicken level. Chicken level. Alright. Oh, that counted. Okay, good. No! Oh, that was so good. That was such a good round. As long as none of these go up sideways. Oh, well, that one, preferably also not floating, would be great. Alright. Okay, so that's 2 that are done. Well, 1. Oh! We're flipping it crazy style. Ooh, ooh, no, no! Cook something for streams. Idealist always cooks up something good, so always use it. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, should we do that for our new API? Instead of duck Mama Dodo, it's cooking Mama Dodo, because we're always cooking. We're cooking something mean for programming. I don't know how I made a food pyramid, but yeah, can we talk about how insane that food pyramid situation was growing up? Did y'all have the food pyramid? The same food pyramid that I did growing up, where it was like 6 to 8 grains or some nonsense? It's wild. Oh, guys, why was that easier than normal? It's easier because we're better. Hey, Hollow, how you doing? We're just cooking some eggs. We're just cooking some eggs. Nothing strange about this. Surely, you beat Skong? Ooh, is that like a final boss on the new in Silksong? If so, congratulations. Well, I'm gonna congratulate you regardless. I just don't know what Skong is. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I assumed it was okay. Good. Congratulations. How'd you like it? Did you enjoy? Can you fry an egg on top of Mount Everest? Never thought about it. Perhaps it's relevant. For me, anyway. But still. Time to shake hands. Good. Yeah, let's avoid spoilers, but I have to beat I have to beat the first one first. That's not my pan. Is it my pan? Or is that the normal pan? That looks like the normal pan. Oh. A hand outstretched. And we shake hands! Our left hand, their left hand. Let me know. Arctic eggs. Should I play Silksong? Probably, but it would be like 60 hours later, because I haven't even played the first one yet. Hey. Haven't played Hollow Knight. I should probably play. It feels needed because of how much harder Silksong is. Yeah. Good to know that it's hard. Well, how long does it take when you don't know what you're doing and don't know where to go? And you're just exploring. Because I was gonna say, like, to me, it's very similar to Rain World as far as the amount, and we haven't even gotten close to beating the Rain World the first time. So, like, we've had, especially when you play 4 hours at a time, to say, like, oh, it takes 20 hours, that's 5 weeks. You know what I mean? Which I don't mind doing. 35, depending on where you want to. Exactly. So it's like, I want to play it. I just don't know if that's one of those things that we play on stream, or if I record off my own time, because 30 to 50 hours of recorded stuff is a lot. But I'm down. I'm really down. I imagine you also put it on the game recommended Discord, but if you haven't, or if you haven't like commented on it, please do so. Stream it. It's not as bad as Rain World. The game is a lot more guided within Rain World. Oh, well, that's good at least. Cooked on both sides, as always. Absolutely beautiful. Can I climb this? Alright, well, time to see what's on top. You might, Dragon? Hell yeah. Yeah, if there's enough push for it, I will do it. Don't get me wrong. I'll even make a custom, like, thing for it. But at the same time, it will be a commitment. Though I do not mind. I do not mind in the slightest. So I need to figure out the connection issue. I'm sorry you're having a connection issue with it. And we beat it. Well, we beat the final boss in hard mode. Before I start streaming again, y'all. Completely understandable. You do what you can. And on top, there is, oh, like a little chicken. Oh, look at you. You're so cute. You're so cute. You're so cute. Good chicken. Good chicken. I'm glad we just pet the chicken over here. It's like, oh, you're so cute. Are you cold? I can bring you somewhere warm if you want. I can bring you somewhere warm. Oh. Get really strong sailor data. Whoa. Best of luck to you, my guy. All right, now we're just gonna quit to see if it went through. We did it! Let's go! Or just yeah. Honestly, you might just have to just do edited videos. If you don't have the streaming, you might just have to do YouTube and just do that and post that. It's unfortunate, but you have to do what you're able to, and then once you're able to have a good enough connection to stream, then you move in that direction. Plus, then you kind of build a community a little bit, and then once they're like, hey, if you like my videos, you can live stream it here. You could really paint it in that direction. You know what I mean? Look at that, 100%. Let's go. Hold on, let's finish all of them. Colder than Everest. Feed the 6 stomachs. We got the caged roach, the tangled meat, beer hell, in and out, bullet hell, beer and puff, the silent saint, empty aquarium, savory sock seasoning. That one is wild. Prison sultry. This is how I sit on the toilet, which is really, really funny. Nightclub nourishment, the government, email etiquette, and feast in the clouds. And we have 100%ed a wonderful cooking game as recommended by Cute Boy. And as always, his recommendations have been tippity top. I never question, because that was great, and we made something really fun. So I will also be going off here, Dragon. So you have a wonderful night, and to the rest of you, have a wonderful night, a wonderful day, and I will see you Tuesday for some more API stuff. All right. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.